What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3 Centigrams Chapter 66. Professor Kukui. Damn, my last one is Necrozma, 8th update. Advertisement: the purple-blue dragon head collides with the bright blue sphere Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere barely blocked Dragon Pulse. The current situation is undoubtedly very unfavorable for Professor Kukui. Encore Extreme Speed. The speed of Naganadel's ghostly normal just now surprised both Kukui and Lucario. But this time I am prepared. This time the extreme speed is different from last time. Straff with Sludge Bomb. Onlookers, champion. Professor Kukui. Use poison type to fight steel type. Xiaozhi, if you want to use water type, can you do it more concealedly? It's hard for me to explain that you're so cool, in the image. Professor Kukui was stunned for a moment after hearing Xiaozhi's instructions. Then a proud smile formed on the corner of his mouth. While you're at it, rush forward and use Dragon Wave to cross. Luca. Faced with the powerful Sludge Bomb, Lucario went head-on. Dual-wield the Dragon Head and strike hard. Because of the use of Sludge Bomb, Naganadel had no chance to dodge this move. Dragon Pulse got a solid hit. Xiaozhi was also stunned for a moment, and randomly made a shocked expression on Yan Yi's face. Ah, I forgot that Poison type has no effect on Steel type. Oolong do. Is this the complete body Xiaozhi? It's really funny, close black lens bracket. Dandy. Ha ha ha, Xiaozhi is always so unexpected. Alder. Chitaro is really a god and a ghost. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. This is the Xiaozhi I know. With his previous commanding skills, I thought Xiaozhi had been replaced. Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi. Professor Oak, how could you say that to me? Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi strongly protested against Professor Oak's slander. Although he also felt that he no longer looked like him in the previous picture. Not in other aspects, but in terms of command. Peeved, Xiaozhi is so interesting. Lily looked at Yan Yi's Xiaozhi in the picture and couldn't help laughing. Shui Lian and others on the side also laughed, always feeling that Xiaozhi like this is Yu Chang's Xiaozhi. Image 1 Dragon Pulse is extremely effective for Naganadel. However, this is not Lucario's skill after all. Secondly, Naganadel is the ultimate exotic beast. It is equivalent to the legendary Pokémon. Naturally, the physical strength will not be weak. Naganadel was knocked away by Dragon Pulse, but after shaking his head, he flew back to soaring in the sky. As expected of the ultimate beast, it's really tricky. Lucario, Encore Extreme Speed. Luca. Lucario turned into a white stream of light and disappeared from the field again. Just use the Aura Sphere. Luca. 613 Using Aura Sphere under Extreme Speed Contest condition requires extremely high control of the waveguide. It can be seen from this that Lucario, like Professor Kukui, is by no means an ordinary person. Naganadel's head kept turning, looking for traces of Lucario. The first time I was able to dodge Lucario's extreme speed was because Lucario paused for a moment when he appeared behind him. But now if I release my skills under such agility. He also couldn't find Lucario's foothold very well. Brush. The cyanwood-colored Aura Sphere suddenly appeared on the right side of Naganadel. Xiaozhi quickly ordered. Use the D-pad to knock him away. Love. Green light covers the needle tube, then he hit Aura Sphere hard like a gun coming out like a dragon, knocking it away. But it's not over yet. After only a moment's pause, several Aura Spheres struck again from all directions. Knocked them all away. Bang bang bang. The incoming Aura Sphere was like a ping-pong ball. Normal was knocked away one by Naganadel. Explode on soaring in the sky. As expected of a mythical beast, its reflexes and coping abilities are ridiculously strong. Oolongdu feels that Naganadel's strength should not be worse than Milu Meta. No matter how big or small he is still a champion. So seriously, Xiaozhi's lineup in Alola is really luxurious. Professor's Lucario feels like it's on the same level as Elite Four's trump card Pokémon, but it's still not as good as Naganadel. Even with the combination of extreme speed and Aura Sphere, there's no way to suppress Naganadel. It's a bit difficult. Cynthia herself also has a Lucario, and it is a champion level. So she naturally knows Lucario very well, although Lucario and Naganadel seem to be evenly matched now. That's what Lucario sacrificed a lot of physical strength for. With a combination like extreme speed plus Aura Sphere, if Naganadel cannot be taken down quickly, Lucario is about to fall without Naganadel taking action. So strong Naganadel. Xiaozhi's eyes lit up when he saw it. He still can't imagine that he will have such powerful Pokémon in the future. Advertisement: Pika. This doesn't require me to take action, right? No, I'm a big C. Pikachu felt a little guilty when he saw the powerful Naganadel. Can he be better than Naganadel in the future? No, Naganadel is Xiaozhi's trump card, right? In the image, Professor Kukui was already a little anxious. Of course he also understands the disadvantages of extreme speed plus Aura Sphere, ADA. But the ultimate beast is too tricky, otherwise it would be difficult to compete with him. If this continues, he will be dragged to death sooner or later. All I can do is give it a try. Lucario, attack Naganadel with extreme speed. Brush. The white stream of light shifted behind Naganadel. Then, like lightning, Normal rushed out. In an instant, he was close to Naganadel's back. Then he hit Naganadel hard on the waist with an elbow. Love, Naganadel's body was bent backward by the elbow. My waist feels like it's going to break. Now, use melee combat. Luca. Bang bang bang. Orange energy flows in Lucario's hands. The fists fell like a violent storm, all hitting Naganadel's body. Naganadel was knocked directly to the ground, causing billowing smoke and dust. Dragon Pulse. What? After hearing Xiaozhi's instructions, Kukui was shocked and even took extreme speed in close combat. Even if he didn't fall down, he should at least be able to crawl for a while, right? Do you still have room to use skills? However, the next second, a huge purple-blue dragon head rushed out of the smoke. The target was pointed at Lucario in midair. We use Dragon Pulse too. There is no way to dodge in midair. If you try this move Dragon Pulse again, you will be completely disappointed. Lucario condensed the dragon head with his hands and then merged it into one body. The dragon-shaped energy pillar flew out and collided with Naganadel's Dragon Pulse. Boom! The violent arrogance shocked the entire audience. The terrifying airwaves pushed Naganadel back several meters on the ground. Lucario, who was in midair, was directly blown out by Whirlwind. Fortunately, his Chigungung was so good that he landed safely in the end. X-Scissor. Force Palm, both sides said in unison. The poisonous dragon turned into a stream of light and quickly approached Lucario. Lucario also came forward without giving in. Boom. The green needle collided with the white fist. Fluctuations were everywhere. The huge aftermath blew the clothes and hair of the surrounding spectators. Very good, use the second stage of Force Palm. Professor Kukui felt like he had seized the opportunity. In addition to the initial damage, Force Palm also has a second stage of dark damage. However, when Naganadel aimed the remaining two small needles at Lucario, Kukui felt that something was wrong. Your Naganadel can't fire skills from all three pipes, right? Naganadel told Professor Kukui with practical actions, yes. Use the last Dragon Pulse. Love, two purple-blue dragon heads attacked Lucario, one on the left and one on the right. Lucario had no way to dodge, so he could only make a final effort and hit the second stage Force Palm. A loud bang. Dragon Pulse bombarded Lucario, and Naganadel was also launched several meters away by the second stage. After flying a few meters, Naganadel barely managed to steady his body. And Lucario has fallen to the ground. He has lost the ability to fight. At this point, all 5 of Professor Kukui's Pokémon have lost their ability to fight. And Xiaozhi. There are 3 more. Yulongdu. Gigi. Xiaozhi has grown to this point. You can win even with a wave of Poison-type skills and Steel-type Pokémon with cool moves. Dandy. Today Xiaozhi is already a powerful trainer at the championship level. I feel that with full firepower, he is no weaker than the 8th Master, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Before the game started, we thought that except for the mythical beasts, Xiaozhi's Pokémon would be difficult to resist Professor Kukui's Pokémon. But now it seems that none of Xiaozhi's Pokémon are weak. Yes, before the game started, everyone was dumbfounded when they saw Xiaozhi's first 3 Pokémon. A second stage Torracat, a first stage Baby Rollet, and a canine Pokémon similar to Mightyena. The results of it? Mightyena is basically Professor Kukui's trump card Roaring Tiger coming to fight. Torracat faced off and destroyed the Roaring Tiger. Rollet defeated Braviary, who was several times bigger than him, in a flying-type battle. None of them are weak, and the 2 mythical beasts at the back are even stronger than the other. Melameta defeated Empoleon without taking any damage. Naganadel is now in a row, if the last one is not stuck. Advertisement I'm afraid they can all be 3 in a row. And Pikachu, who has never taken action. Yulongdu. Again, although Xiaozhi seems to have the advantage now. But as long as the card has not fallen down, Xiaozhi's chance of winning is almost 0, close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. Well, Mr. Lance. Actually, you can just say it silently in your heart. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Ha ha ha, Lance and Professor Kukui are even afraid of you. Close black lens bracket. Lance's poisonous milk is so terrifying. Yoryuatari. You guys, just wait and see, Professor Kukui is about to take out the 6th Pokémon, close black lens bracket. As Lance's last words appeared, everyone turned their attention back to the big screen. In the image, Professor Kukui reluctantly took back Lucario. Now Xiaozhi still has 3 Pokémon in his hand, and he only has 1 left. But he didn't despair, because his last Pokémon, Arceus, Necrozma, Marshadow, Rayquaza, Lugia, Lunala. One of them, if you use it, Xiaozhi will lose. Funny, just when Professor Kukui took out the last Pokeball, a yellow figure suddenly broke into the stadium. There were yellow and black hard shells on both sides of the visitor's arms, and hair similar to rooster cones on his head. The body appears very slender. Audiences around the world immediately recognized who it was. The mythical beast of Alola, the patron saint of Mele Mele Island, Tapu Wuwu. Everyone thought that Tapu Koko had been conquered by Professor Kukui. Now it seems a little different from what I imagined. Professor is already preparing to throw the last ball. Tapu Wuwu actually fell from the sky. Professor Kukui. Let me tell you, why did Tapu Koko become my Pokémon? Now it seems that it should be a temporary substitute. Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. Conquering a divine beast with a divine power is indeed a great thing, and it will have a huge impact on the entire world. I was also wondering how Professor Kukui conquered Tapu Koko, but now it seems that the answer has been revealed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. But, why does Tapu Koko suddenly want to fight Xiaozhi at this time? Close black lens bracket. Dandy. You will know after reading it. Close black lens bracket in the image. After Tapu Koko circled Xiaozhi twice, he flew in front of Professor Kukui again and kept talking about this. Professor Kukui looked confused. He doesn't understand Pokémon. In the end, Tapu Wuwu seemed to be angry and slapped the Pokeball in Professor Kukui's hand to knock it off. Then he continued to shout indignantly. Tapu Wuwu, you mean, you want to fight Xiaozhi? KPU, sorry, I really can't hear this growl. It is a growl that cannot be described in words. JPG. Tapu whined, his eyes turned into an arc, and then he faced Xiaozhi and Naganadel head on. After Professor Kukui was in a daze for a while, a look of excitement appeared on his face. Command the patron saint to fight. This is an unprecedented feat. Xiaozhi, what did you say? Want to fight Tapu Wuwu? Xiaozhi was stunned for a moment when he heard this, and then an expression of excitement appeared on his face. That couldn't be better. Tapu, ever since I came to Alola, you have been helping me. You gave me Z Pure Crystal, gave me a bracelet, and brought little Nebula to me. Now I want to give it to me too. Look at the growth I've experienced at Alola. Pikachu. Pikachu said in agreement at Xiaozhi's feet. KPU, this is my final test for you. This sentence appeared on the screen, and everyone finally knew it. Why does Tapu Koko appear in the competition and replace Professor Kukui's last Pokémon? It turns out, Xiaozhi has been paying attention to Tapu Koko since he arrived. His innocent heart allowed Tapu Wuming to test him again along the way, while also giving him help. Now, this game is Tapu's final test. Actually, it was because I felt itchy after seeing the intense battle between Kukui and Xiaozhi. Waiting to die 3. In the image, after the battle was officially confirmed, Tapu's whole body erupted with a saffron-colored light. This is not a move, but Tapu Koko's ability, the electric terrain created by the electric maker. In electric terrain, all Pokémon will not enter the sleeping contest condition, and the power of electric skills will be increased by 50%. The 8th generation has changed to 30%, but it is still calculated as 50% here. Xiaozhi was also excited when he saw electric terrain turned on. Start commanding Naganadel to launch an attack. Then go for it with all your strength. Naganadel, Sludge Bomb. Tapu Wuwu is Fairy's power-up attribute. Sludge Bomb can have a restraining effect. What's more, it's Naganadel's Sludge Bomb. Tapu Wuwu hit him with Dazzling Gleam, KPU. Tapu Koko screamed, and his whole body was wrapped in bright light. The pink-purple light turned into a meteor and rushed towards Naganadel at lightning speed. Those powerful mud rocks on the road were directly smashed into pieces by Tapu. Dazzling Gleam physical version. No, Naganadel, get out of the way. Tapu Koko's attack is more domineering than imagined. He actually rushed over despite the restrained Sludge Bomb. Xiaozhi wanted Naganadel to get out of the way, but the speed that the Four-Needle Dragon was proud of couldn't compare to Kata Mingming. Before Naganadel can make any move, Tapu's whining Dazzling Gleam has arrived in front of Naganadel and bumped into it hard. Naganadel was smacked down from soaring in the sky. Chapter 67. The Terrifying Tapu Koko. The Power of Divine Beasts. 9th Update. Advertisement. Boom. Naganadel fell into the ground with a loud noise. Dust is flying, dust is flying. A huge hole appeared in the ground. Inside, Naganadel was struggling to fly. Lucario hit so many skills before, he even hit a restrained Dragon Pulse, but Tapu Koko didn't have the wolf from Dazzling Gleam. There are also differences between mythical beasts. After Kukui on the side saw Tapu's terrifying power. I was a little dazed for a while. It's not that he has never seen Tapu Koko's power, it's just that he has never compared it to Tapu Ming's power. There is no harm without comparison. Naganadel, who is comparable to the ultimate alien beast, was seriously injured so easily. The patron saint is really awesome. Naganadel, are you okay? Love. Naganadel shook his head and flew up again. Even if it is a divine beast with a priesthood, if you want to defeat it with a non-restrained Dazzling Gleam move. Still a little worse. Well done Naganadel, encore Sludge Bomb. Dazzling Gleam. Seeing Xiaozhi continue to use Sludge Bomb, Professor Kukui was also rude. I want to recreate the scene just now. Dozens of black sludge shot out normally like missiles. But Tapu is like a normal missile, knocking all the mud away. Now, with Poison Jab. Love. Naganadell's huge needle turned purple, facing Tapu Koko who was charging forward. He also uses Poison Jab to confront the opponent head-on. Boom! The head-on collision between the two sides made a huge noise. The collision of airwaves also spread in circles. The wind roared all around, like gods fighting. Actually, it is indeed a good fight between gods now. After using Sludge Bomb to weaken Tapu Koko, Naganadel successfully blocked Tapu's dazzling gleam with Poison Jab. Good chance. Naganadel, Sludge Bomb. Now the two sides are in a stalemate, just like Lucario used Force Palm to block Naganadel normal. But Naganadel still has two needles to attack. The other two tiny needles were aimed at Tapu, then powerful black bullets are fired like a machine gun normal. Professor Kukui's secret channel is not good. How to defend against this kind of contest condition? Brush. The yellow hard shells on both sides of Tapu Koko are suddenly covered with metallic color. Then he stood in front of the two tiny needle tubes. Bang bang bang. The sludge bomb was launched, but was blocked by Tapu Koko's two hard shells. Tapu Wuwu told Professor Kukui through his actions that he is different from Lucario. Steel Wing. As expected of a guardian angel, he can use any skill. It's time for us to counterattack Xiaozhi. Just use discharge like this. Naganadel leave quickly. Xiaozhi wants Naganadel to get out of the way quickly. But how could Naganadel dodge such a close attack? Zizizi. Huge golden electricity bursts out from Tapu Koko's body. It reached Naganadel. The audience saw that this current seemed not as scary as the previous episode. It should be that Tapu put some water in it, otherwise, Naganadel will probably turn into coke. Despite this, Naganadel could not help but twitch under such a huge current. Then fell to the ground. Love. After suffering such a powerful attack, Naganadel still did not fall. Although his body is covered with bruises, he can still fight. After all, it is twice as resistant to electricity, and coupled with its status as a legendary Pokémon. It's impossible for him to fall down so easily. Naganadel. Looking at Naganadel standing up tremblingly, Xiaozhi straightened his hat and shouted to him. Naganadel, rival is Tapu, you don't need to limit your power anymore, use your full strength. Viewers currently watching. What do you mean? It's as if Naganadel had let off steam before. Really, wasn't that your full strength just now? You Longdu. The ultimate beast. Is it so strong? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. The power just now was not full power. You know, even the previous Regice and mythical beasts like Latios are completely incomparable to the power of Naganadel. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Yes. Naganadel is even stronger than Milumeta, and now Xiaozhi actually says that he hasn't used his full strength yet. Professor Kukui, are all the ultimate beasts so terrifying? Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. That's not the case. In fact, Naganadel almost used all his strength when fighting Venusaur just now, but the ultimate beasts have a common ability, called Beast Boost. Open black lens bracket. Professor Oak. Beast Boost? A never heard of ability, close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. This is an ability that only belongs to the ultimate beast. The effect is that every time an enemy is defeated, the attribute with the highest ability value will increase by 1 level. It is an ability that makes you braver as you fight. Although Professor Kukui does not know Naganadel, the ultimate beast. Advertisement, but the abilities of the ultimate beasts are the same, that is Beast Boost. However, Xiaozhi's Naganadel is dandy. I see, so now Naganadel actually has an attribute +2. However, from the beginning to now, Naganadel has not shown any change in ability at all, close black lens bracket. Hala. That's why Xiaozhi gave the order for Naganadel to use all his strength. Open black lens bracket. Wallace. Who is this? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Hala. My first appearance. I am Mele Mele Island's Island Kahuna Hala. I am the person chosen by Tapu to protect Mele Mele Island. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Alola. Is such a unique place with its own customs. You must go and visit it when you have time. Close black lens bracket. Steven always thinks about running to Alola. Under Professor Kukui's explanation, everyone finally understood what Xiaozhi meant by full strength. To be honest, this is the first time for many trainers to hear about it. If the attribute is not shown after the increase, is Zhang Zi hiding his strength? In the image, under Xiaozhi's command, Naganadel let out a huge roar. The red light keeps rising around it. Oh, Beast Boost ability. I almost forgot. Tapu, be careful. The other party has made a boost. KPU. Tapu can also feel that the other party seems to be completely different after the promotion. Naganadel, the wave of the box. Love, Professor Kukui. What's going on with you? Just now, the poison type was fighting the steel type, and now you're using the dragon type to fight fairy? You have already understood the attribute restraint table, right? Audiences around the world are also confused. Is this the legendary god and ghost? Facing Dragon Pulse, Tapu Wuwu naturally doesn't know how to dodge, and has even prepared the next move. As a result, The purple-blue dragon head made a detour just when it was about to hit Tapu Koko. Hit the ground. Boom. A huge noise sounded, and the venue was instantly surrounded by smoke. Tapu was attracted by the dragon pulse that just turned. When he looks back, but I found that Naganadel was no longer soaring in the sky. Xiaozhi pressed his hat to prevent it from being blown away by the strong wind, but a sly smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Brush, behind Tapu Koko, a purple light flashed. The poison jab covered in purple light stabbed Tapu Koko with overwhelming force. Under the influence of Naganadel's powerful force, Tapu Koko flew upside down. This is the first time Tapu Koko has been injured since playing. However, after flying a few meters, Tapu Koko stopped. Even if it is twice as restrained, for Tapu Koko, this move is not even a minor injury. You were tricked. You used Dragon Pulse to stir up dust to interfere with your vision. It's really you, Xiaozhi. It turns out that Dragon Pulse is not aimed at Tapu Wuwu at all, but at the venue. Xiaozhi's classic unexpected play, Professor Kukui, Naganadel, Encore Poison Jab. Tapu Wuwu, Steel Wing. The two sides turn into golden and purple streams of light, constantly intersecting in the venue. Both sides are constantly colliding and separating at a speed that is difficult for ordinary people to see clearly. For a time, sand and dust were everywhere, and the wind was howling. The shock waves of the collision between the two sides continued to streak through the sky and the ground. It left huge traces one after another on the ground. Alchemy. Naganadel's speed has caught up with Tapu. Yu Longdu. Alien Beast photography ability increases Naganadel's speed, so he, who is far behind Tapu Koko in speed, can catch up with Tapu Koko. 1. Lance's analysis is correct. Xiaozhi's Naganadel is already outstanding in terms of speed, plus dual beast boost. It is not surprising to increase the speed to the level of Tapu Koko. After the two sides exchanged dozens of attacks on the field, Naganadel seizes the opportunity and uses Poison Jab to fool his face. But at the same moment, the metal arm on Tapu's whining side was suddenly surrounded by bright golden thunder and lightning. While Poison Jab was confused, Tapu Koko also punched hard. Boom! Both sides flew out at the same time. Tapu Wuwu only bounced a dozen meters and stopped. And Naganadel was directly smacked down to the ground. It rubbed all the way and hit the stone wall of the stadium on the side. The stone wall was shattered, and countless stone fragments buried it, leaving only a head outside. Naganadel still wants to struggle again, but no matter what, he couldn't get up. In the end, I could only hang down powerlessly and lost my ability to fight. The battle between gods and gods, Tapu Koko wins. Even after going through Beast Boost, Naganadel is still not rival with the priesthood Tapu Koko. Xiaozhi quickly ran to Naganadel and threw away the gravel that was pressing on him. He once again showed everyone what a mega rookie is. Holla. After all, Wuwu is better. Even the ultimate beast after Beast Boost is not his rival. Xiaozhi should have gone far. Close black lens bracket. 0. Please give me flowers, Yu Longdu. Ha. Did you see, what does it mean that heroes have the same vision? I'm just saying, how can a divine beast with a priesthood lose? Let alone one with the level of a patron saint like Tapu. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement, Xiaozhi. Well, Mr. Lance, if you say that, I will be very sad. Open black lens bracket Jesse. Little devil, come on. We support you. Bang the Tapu. Close black lens bracket. Holla. Team Rocket. How dare you be so disrespectful to the patron saint, close black lens bracket. James. Ahem, I'm sorry, that Jessie is talking nonsense. I'd like to say I'm sorry on her behalf. Are you crazy, Jessie? That's the patron saint. If you slander him like this, we will be beaten up by the whole Alola. James said to Jessie with a horrified look on his face. Jessie curled her lips and said nothing, maybe because she felt impulsive. But, that guy named Yulongdu keeps slandering Xiao Guido. Where does this put the faces of the three of them who are always defeated by the little devil? Besides, they bet heavily on the kid. Uncle can bear it, but Jessie can't. James, you have to keep an eye on Jessie, meow. If we are targeted by the champion, even we won't be able to escape, meow. James nodded and said that he would definitely keep an eye on Jessie and stop letting her type random responses. As for whether he can stop it, only James himself knows. After cleaning up the rubble, Xiaozhi took a closer look at Naganadel. He breathed a sigh of relief after discovering that the other party was okay. You performed well, Naganadel, come back and rest. Pikachu. Pikachu also encouraged Naganadel, and Naganadel reluctantly chirped in response. Then Xiaozhi took it back into the ultimate ball. Pikachu. After Naganadel fell, Pikachu's fighting spirit was high. He felt that it was his turn. Sorry Pikachu, let this guy play. Leather. Pikachu's ears suddenly stood up. After watching Xiaozhi take out a Pokeball, he lay helplessly on the ground. He almost forgot that Lycanroc had not lost his ability to fight. Aren't you going to Pikachu? I want to let this kid play. Maybe Pikachu doesn't need to take action? Kepu. UB***********. How dare you slander me like this? Can you compare to that B*ch in terms of my strength? You and your dog were both raised by me. Are you going to kill your father now? Haha, just kidding Tapu Koko. I just want you to see. The Rockruff who was in front of you is now able to stand alone. The decision is yours, Lycanroc. Ouch. After the words fell, the orange Lycanroc appeared on the field. He looked at Tapu Koko, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Is this the legendary father-son game? Ha ha ha, give it. Lycanroc, Stone Edge. When Lycanroc heard this, he stepped hard on the ground with both feet, and sharp rocks appeared one after another. Hit Tapu Woo Woo. Crush him with Steel Wing, KPU. Pink-purple light wraps around Tapu Koko's body. Tapu whined and charged directly with force. The sharp stone peaks rising from the ground were ignored by him. It was smashed into pieces when they met each other. Bang bang bang. Tapu Koko smashed the stone peaks one after another, and soon approached Lycanroc. Lycanroc, Sand Attack. The dog quickly turned his body, with his butt facing backwards, and his two hind legs slid wildly inside. It is indeed a dog. I typed it correctly, funny. Smoke and dust instantly filled the field. Tapu Koko's sight was obscured. Tapu Koko ignored it and rushed directly into the dust, but missed. Now, Accelerock, Lycanroc suddenly jumped out from the side of Tapu Koko. The sharp rock on the mane stabbed it hard, however. Tapu, who was hit by Accelerock, whined but remained motionless on the spot, just looking at the dog quietly. Father's gaze, the fearless dog couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Then, the bright electric light turned into a thundersnake and hit Lycanroc hard. Discharge. Lycanroc couldn't help but cry out, just use Steel Wing. Boom. Discharge borrowed the Steel Wing, and the dog was sent flying. Then he lay down on the ground and couldn't get up again. Tapu Koko easily won, although Lycanroc has made great progress. But there is still a huge gap between him and the championship level. Not to mention a divine beast that is stronger than the normal champion. So even if you use a little trick to barely hit Tapu Koko, that's it. Xiaozhi touched Lycanroc's head and then took it back into the Pokeball. Now, Xiaozhi has only one last Pokemon left, Pikachu. And Tapu looks like his physical strength is at least 80% higher. At present, Xiaozhi seems to be in a desperate situation. When Pikachu from the street met the electric god of electric type, wouldn't everything be broken at the same time? Chapter 68. Suppress Tapu Koko, Pickup Truck? Call him Pai Shen, 10th update? Advertisement, Yu Longdu. Xiaozhi can play GG, there is only one Pikachu left, and Tapu Koko has not been consumed much, so he must lose, okay? Close black lens bracket. Dengji. From the perspective of electricity, I feel that Tapu's electricity is several times stronger than what Pikachu showed before. Of course, I am referring to the background. Close black lens bracket. Majishi. I really didn't expect the little baby to grow to this point, but there is no way he can defeat Tapu Wuwu. The strength of the two sides is really far apart. One. Xiao Zhuer. Really? But I can feel. Pikachu in the picture shines brighter than any previous battle. Close black lens bracket. Alder. I can also feel that Pikachu is full of fighting spirit. Hala. Mr. Alder, there are some things that cannot be solved by relying on fighting spirit. The strength of the Guardian Angel cannot be matched even by Xiaozhi's Pikachu explosive seed. Close black lens bracket. As a loyal fan of Tapu Wuwu, Hala naturally retorted. He is also one of the people most familiar with Tapu Koko's strength. On the screen, Tapu Koko doesn't even use half of his power. Just now when I was racing against Naganadel, I used my full strength. The rest of the time his attack power is considered extremely unrestrained. Otherwise, even if it is the ultimate beast Naganadel, it's impossible to block Tapu Koko's 2 attacks from this type of skill. Dandy. I think. Xiaozhi told us the ending, so everyone can just read on. Close black lens bracket. Although Emperor Dan is a road idiot, he is indeed sharper than anyone else in combat. He could feel that the Xiaozhi in the picture now, at least at the trainer level. Not much weaker than him, plus the bond between him and Pikachu. This battle may not be unwinnable, Professor Kukui. Is it really impossible for Xiaozhi to defeat Tapu Wuwu? Lily looked at Xiaozhi, who took back the Naganadel and slowly walked back to the trainer position on the screen. Asked Professor Kukui, 640. Professor Kukui pressed his hat and said in a low voice. To be honest, it's very difficult, or basically impossible. Tapu Koko is known as the patron saint of ruins of conflict, and once worked with the other 4 patron saints to resist the invasion of the ultimate alien beasts from another space. Although it is just a legend, if nothing happened, how could such a legend spread? Therefore, the power of Tapu Wuwu can be imagined, plus the previous Tiandao inventory showed us the tip of the iceberg of Tapu Koko's power. You can even see through the lens how powerful a divine beast he is. And Xiaozhi's Pikachu. Professor Kukui did not say anything further. But there is no need to say more, this has been clearly told to everyone. There's no way Xiaozhi's Pikachu can win. That's it. But I still have to cheer for them. If Xiaozhi and Pikachu defeat Tapu Koko, Wouldn't it mean that our Alola is not a rural place? We also have powerful people trainer. Lily looked at Xiaozhi and Pikachu with firm eyes. Our Alola champion is the strongest. Professor Kukui was stunned for a moment, then smiled brightly. Ha ha ha, Lily, your angle is still novel. It's true. If Xiaozhi can beat me in Tapu Koko, it means that the gold content of our Alola championship is also the best in the world. When you say that, I almost want Xiaozhi to defeat me. Professor, you'd better cheer for yourself. Xiaozhi, it's enough for us to cheer for you, right everyone? Oh, Xiaozhi Alola's classmates are now cheering for Xiaozhi. I want to win Xiaozhi. Image continues. After Xiaozhi took back Lycanroc, he looked at Professor Kukui and Tapu Koko with serious expressions. The two people standing opposite him, one is to guide him from the beginning to the end, like a teacher or a father. The other one is to give him the Z-ring at the beginning and take him to the gate of the new world. And he constantly gives him powerful plugins, and he is like a teacher and a father. The two people now stand on opposite sides of him, and he is completely different from when he first came to Alola. Professor Kukui, Tapu Koko, thank you very much for your help when I first came to Alola. I will use this battle to tell you. Your help was not in vain. I am no longer the same as when I first came to Alola. Same. It's up to you, Pikachu, Xiaozhi shouted and sent out his last one, also his Earl Dervish partner Pikachu. Pikachu jumped to splash, high-fived Xiaozhi with its tail, and then landed gracefully on the ground. Pikapi. KPU. Seeing the coming Pikachu, Tapu's demeanor was completely different from before. Even the aura around him was completely trembling. If we just relaxed the contest condition before, so now, Tapu is treating Pikachu with a 120% attitude. Nothing else. Just because when Xiaozhi and Pikachu first came to Alola, he has already explained them, that Pikachu and that special boy. He knew from the beginning that there was infinite power between them. This is not a rival that you can beat casually. Cynthia, why do I feel that Tapu's aura is different from before? It seems more serious? Hala. You read that right. Based on my familiarity with Tapu, he should be using 120% of his energy to deal with Pikachu in front of him. Close black lens bracket. Hala. But why is this happening? You obviously weren't that serious when fighting Naganadel. Why did you do this to the little electric mouse? Diantha. Why'd I have a bad feeling? Lance, do you have any clues? Close black lens bracket. You Longdu. What do you want to say? The lion fights the rabbit with all his strength. This is the last fight. Can't Tapu recognize Drew's point? What a fuss. You Longstick. I support my cousin. Pikachu will definitely lose this time. After all, Tapu is so powerful. Even the normal beasts are helpless against it. Lance's loyal fans showed up to support Lance. Yu Longzwang, the leader of Blackthorn Gym in Johto region, is also one of the most powerful trainers in Johto region. Advertisement. I have blind confidence in my cousin. Of course, this kind of confidence is not without reason. After all, the invincible dragon envoy is not just bragging. Now, audiences all over the world held their breath and watched the scenes in the video with rapt attention. The god of thunder with the priesthood went to fight a Pikachu. This will probably become the hottest news in the future. The battle has officially begun. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Only Xiaozhi can use Thunderbolt in front of the electric beast. Tapu Discharge. KPU. Both sides release Golden Spark at the same time. Lightning flashed everywhere, and the huge power from both sides merged together. The competition between Thunderbolt and Discharge. To everyone's expectation, after a stalemate for several seconds, Pikachu's Thunderbolt slowly suppressed it. What? How is that possible? Professor Kukui shouted in disbelief. In the competition of electricity, Tapu Koko, the god of thunder and lightning, will lose? Pikachu. Pikachu increased the power again under everyone's shocked eyes. The saffron-colored Thunderbolt suddenly doubled in size. It suppressed Tapu's whining discharge. KPU. Tapu whined as he was hit by Thunderbolt and couldn't help shouting. This Thunderbolt trick worked. Diancie came. Is this Pikachu? Raichu? Degenerate quickly. I want Pikachu. Close black lens bracket. Xiaojuer. Look, I told you. This time Pikachu will shine even brighter than before. Close black lens bracket. Hala. How is that possible? Tapu lost to Pikachu in the power competition. Am I dreaming? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Mr. Hala, you are not dreaming. Everyone is watching. At this time, you should ask. Lance, what do you think? Close black lens bracket. Lance said he didn't want to talk now. No, what's going on with this Pikachu? This electricity is at least 3 times stronger than the time we fought against Latios. It's so outrageous. There is a saying, Pikachu during the Alola period was like a god of war. He didn't lose a single game, and the only game he didn't win was a tie with Zoroark. I watched the last battle of the exhibition game over and over again. Pikachu basically suppressed Tapu throughout the whole process. Handsome yuppie. In the image, after Pikachu used electricity to suppress Tapu Koko head-on, his face was also full of shock. Yao remembers that when he first came to Alola, if they didn't use Z moves, they wouldn't be Tapu's enemies at all. But now, I can suppress Tapu head-on with Thunderbolt alone. Simply awesome. Pikachu, let's go. Use quick attack. Pickup. Pikachu is also quite excited now. I have been in Alola for so long, and I have fought with Tapu Koko quite a few times. Even though it was Tapu Koko who coached him every time and made him stronger. But, who feels happy if you lose every time? This time I can finally stop the moaning. Pikachu turned into a stream of white light. Tapu shook his head and then started to look around. As a result, the surroundings were surrounded by white light, and it was impossible to see where Pikachu appeared. Audience. You call this quick attack? Lucario's extreme speed is not that fast. Brush. Pikachu turned into a stream of light and instantly flew from the ground to the sky. It's a pity that this lightning-fast quick attack was dodged by Tapu's quick reaction. After one attack failed, Pikachu continued to use quick attack to deal with the surroundings. Soaring in the sky again and again, attacking Tapu Koko in the sky. However, he was dodged every time. Pikachu's speed on the ground is actually fast enough, but when it's in the air, you will still be caught by Tapu Uwu and then get out of the way. So, even faster, Pikachu, high voltage thundershock. Pickup. Pikachu used quick attack to get back to Xiaozhi. Then he rushed out again, only this time, what was flowing on his body was not white light, but a golden electric glow. Here it comes, God-killing thundershock. Tapu Koko, attack with dazzling gleam. Professor Kukui chooses to have a hard time with Xiaozhi. Although Thunderbolt was not compared with Pikachu just now, but, Cuckoo. Yi still feels, Tapu Koko cannot lose in the physics competition. That is the patron saint who holds the priesthood and can activate the nature power between heaven and earth. KPU. Tapu whined and had no intention of dodge. His whole body was wrapped in pink-purple light. Advertisement. The entire figure is shot out like a cannonball. The golden spark and the fan's star tackle came together, and a huge explosion occurred. Boom, the explosion spread throughout the stadium. However, the audience at Monaro Stadium is getting more and more excited. There is no feeling at all, they are watching the game with their lives. The aftermath of the explosion slowly disappeared, the smoke dispersed, and the sight became pitted. The distance between Tapu Koko and Pikachu is only 1 meter. Neither party seemed to have received any damage, but arcs flashed around Pikachu from time to time. This is the counter-injury from high-pressure thundershock. This time it looks like a close match. Pikachu, encore quick attack. Pickup. Pikachu turned into a phantom of light again. At such a distance, Tapu couldn't even dodge in time. Directly hit by quick attack, then he was sent flying several meters away. Kukui did not expect that after Pikachu released a high-pressure thundershock. It's like receiving no reaction force at all. You can also release moves immediately. Pikachu, quick attack plus Iron Tail, pickup. After the successful attack, Xiaozhi immediately took advantage of the victory. But how could Kukui react enough to give Xiaozhi this chance? Tapu Koko, use Steel Wing to block, KPU, asterisk. Tapu Koko's 2 yellow shells lit up with metallic light. Then he collided hard with Pikachu who was charging towards him. At this time Tapu Koko is already in floating contest condition. Logically speaking, Pikachu who cannot fly is not the rival of Tapu in the air. However, Pikachu's application of Iron Tail has already reached the level of proficiency. This is not called Iron Tail, this is called Giant Beast Tail. Clang. After a crisp sound, Pikachu used his strength to reach the farther sky. Then I didn't know what action I made, and my body fell hard like a heavy weight. Tapu whined and quickly turned around to resist. Clang. There was another crisp sound, however, this time it was no longer evenly matched. Assist's falling force is slightly better than Pikachu's. Not only that, Pikachu once again used the force to float into the air and then fell down. Tapu Koko was now a little dizzy from the shock, seeing Pikachu attack again. We can only quickly set up a double shell to resist. Boom. Boom. The tackle sounds. This time Tapu Koko can no longer resist. The whole body fell down like a meteor normal 2.5. It made a huge noise and the field was instantly filled with smoke. At this time, in the real world of Pokémon, the whole world was unexpectedly quiet. All the audience, including those who defeated Xiaozhi, were silent. Everyone who suppressed Kukui thought that Tapu Uwu should be able to suppress Pikachu easily. Completely crush the past with overwhelming momentum, win this competition. As for those who bet on Xiaozhi, there are only a handful of people who believe in Xiaozhi or like Xiaozhi's passion. They believe in Pikachu's fighting power. They feel that this battle will definitely be a battle between dragons and tigers, a close battle. Even if Pikachu was suppressed at first, later, I can slowly fight back by relying on my bond with Xiaozhi. Even Xiaozhi himself doesn't think so. Pikachu was able to beat that terrifying Tapu at first. At most, it's a classic opening disadvantage, slowly fight back later, and finally come with a decisive wave to win. 2. The situation on the images now exceeds everyone's expectations. Who would have thought that Xiaozhi's Pikachu would be pressing down on Tapu and beating her from the very beginning? And it's a beating that crushes normal. The speed is faster than Tapu Wuwu. The attack is no weaker than Tapu Wuwu, even more powerful than Tapu Koko. Even in the aerial realm, Iron Tail hammered Tapu to the ground with irregular battles. This asterisk is called Pikachu. Wakao, Pikachu is not enough to describe this Pikachu, it should be called Pikachu. Pikapi. Pikachu pointed tremblingly at himself, who was leisurely falling slowly on the screen, and asked Xiaozhi with some doubts. This is me? Xiaozhi, did you find another Pikachu to replace me? When can I fly? Groudon can't even fly. Xiaozhi, who was proficient in Pikachu, naturally understood what Pikachu was saying. Xiaozhi can only say one thing about this, I don't know. Chapter 69. Xiaozhi, you have become stronger, advertisement. It's not like Xiaozhi doesn't know whether this Pikachu is his. As a companion who lives together day and night, can't he even recognize his own Pikachu? What's more, besides his Pikachu, whose Pikachu is so perverted? What he said he didn't know was that he didn't know why Pikachu became so strong. You know, that is a divine beast with a divine responsibilities, As for his Pikachu, it can be seen from the previous battles that it is a slow heating type. But what now? Right from the start, Tapu was beaten. This reminded Xiaozhi of Pikachu's title of Best Actor. Is there a possibility that, normally Pikachu actually just leaves like this? It is said that the more you fight, the stronger you become. It's just that Pikachu is used to acting, and for a while he forgot that he was a mythical beast. That's why the slow heating phenomenon appeared. All the talk about explosive seeds, and talk about getting braver with each fight, are all fake. The answer is, Pikachu was actually so strong from the beginning, he was just acting and forgot about it. Xiaozhi's brain gradually burned out. Steven. Lance, did you place some mysterious spell on the patron saint? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Damn it, I just said I had a bad feeling. Lance, pay me points. Alder. Press against Mr. Lance, the villa is close to the sea. Yulongdu. Tapu Wuwu must not have used his strength yet, he must be observing Xiaozhi and the other's power. That must be the case, close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Just wait and see, when Tapu Koko shows his full strength, I will slap you people in the face. Lance has broken the defense, he is really going to break the defense. These people actually called him poisonous milk. What are you doing? His analysis is obviously so professional and his analysis is so accurate. Comparing the paper strengths of Kukui and Xiaozhi, no matter how you look at it, Kukui wins. But why? Why can Pikachu suppress the guardian angel and fight? He couldn't tell whether Tapu Wuwu had let go or not. The huge amount of electricity is almost the same as when the previous brief introduction was made. Moreover, the strength he exerted can be regarded as the strength exerted by a normal divine beast with divine responsibilities. The problem is that Pikachu. What the hell Pikachu? Is this a Pikachu with a priesthood and the name Skin God? In a head-on battle, Tapu is suppressed, and the competition is sure to win. The aerial battle and even the Tapu Wuwu are not from Pikachu's rival. Is this ridiculous? P.S. Pikachu is basically the complete form of the Skin God in the later stages of Alola. Even in the later stages of the journey, he is almost the same strength. He beats 2 Stevens in a row and basically defeated Cynthia's 2 Pokémon without any damage. If he hadn't been taken away by Destiny Bond, Pikachu 3 high and low skewers. At Team Rocket headquarters, Giovanni looked at the images on the video in silence. His men did not dare to speak out. Everyone knows that the current boss Giovanni is very angry. I originally thought Tapu Koko would win this game anyway, but after all, Tapu Koko's strength is different from those of the previous mythical beasts. But, what is this Pikachu? Is he a first-level god? If he can suppress the priestly beasts, there is no problem in saying that he is a first-level god, right? Originally, Giovanni thought that Pikachu, even though Breeder was good. But his Beedrill is no different, it's even better. But now it seems. Bullshit, then Pikachu is not a normal Pokémon at all. Giovanni's strength is not the first-level god Beedrill in the special chapter, but he has ordinary champion-level strength and looks like a second-level god with weak priesthood. The strength of the normal champion is champion approximately equals level 2 god. The strongest champions, such as Sister Baisai, Steven, and Lance, can reach the strength of divine beasts. Steven Baekai's Mega Evolution. Weak level 1 god, Alchemy Emperor. I'll talk about it later. The current Pikachu is simply stronger than many champion trump card Pokémon. Even among the current 8 masters, except for the top 4 champion trump card Pokémon. The rest of the Pokémon can't touch Pikachu. Giovanni couldn't even think of how an electric mouse could be cultivated to such an extent. Ban. Boss Giovanni, why don't we catch that Pikachu before he gets stronger? Archer, one of the 4 generals, made suggestions. He had investigated that Xiaozhi and that Pikachu, not to mention reaching the level shown on the screen. Even Normal's gym trainer can't beat him, this is the best time to catch him. Unexpectedly, Giovanni looked at Archer like an idiot. Are you confident that you can breeder that electric mouse into the layers on the screen? No, we can capture him and study it. Idiot, we have time to study that, why not find some genes of mythical beasts to study? Besides, that Pikachu became so strong because of its special bond with that kid. If you want to catch it, you might as well catch that kid. That kid is the most special. Giovanni stared at Xiaozhi in the picture with normal eyes like an eagle. For the first time, he was interested in studying humans. Alola region. Yeah, come on Pikachu. Come on Xiaozhi. Defeat the island god. Everyone in Alola is quite excited now. They thought the situation would be one-sided, but they were still worried about Xiaozhi. But now, the situation is indeed one-sided, but it is true that Xiaozhi unilaterally suppressed Tapu. This is a completely impossible thing, but Xiaozhi and Pikachu did it. Lily was also excited to cheer for Xiaozhi. Professor Kukui looked dazed. It's not that he thinks he can't bear the blow if he loses. But he thinks, Mr. Lance's poisonous milk is real cow. Advertisement in the future, if Lance wants to buy something, it's better to go against him and press him. Kalo's region. Serena saw Xiaozhi and Pikachu's heroic performance. Her heart was beating violently. From being worried at the beginning to now beating for them, it only took a few minutes. Xiaozhi and Pikachu are so handsome now, I really want to travel with you soon. In the image, Pikachu fell in front of Professor Kukui after smacked down Tapu Koko. If you don't know, you might think that Pikachu is Kukui's Pokémon. Seeing Tapu moaning and being completely suppressed by Pikachu, Kukui was a little dazed for a moment. It turns out that Xiaozhi and Pikachu have grown to this point? In this case, there is no need to hold back anymore. Tapu Uwu, Nature's Madness. Nature's Madness, assist the terrifying moves unleashed by the nature power between heaven and earth. In the previous review, this move once defeated dozens of Pokémon in one blow. There is even no shortage of Pokémon with Mega Evolutions. And now Tapu Uwu uses this move again. The power is not weaker than before. Tapu Koko poked the ground with one hand, and pink-purple light exploded from his body. Energy fluctuations continue to spread in the ground, causing the ground to form a normal contest condition like a mirror. And all around, energy lines like arcs are constantly crossing and flashing. The wind is howling and the world is turned upside down. When Nature's Madness is used, the world seems to change color. If this move is really used, I don't know if Pikachu is in trouble, but everyone in the audience must be in trouble. Pikachu, restrain him with Electro Web, Pikapi. Pikachu waved his tail, and golden light condensed on his tail. Then suddenly Splash swung out. A dense network formed by the convergence of electricity slammed down. The pink and purple violent power spreading from Tapu's whine was completely captured by Pikachu's Electro Web. Boom! Nature's Madness collided with the power of Electro Web, and finally exploded completely. Pikachu's Electro Web actually blocked the terrifying Nature's Madness. You know, that skill called Nature's Madness almost affected the entire volcano. And it blocked the skills of dozens of powerful Pokémon in an instant, and killed all the Pokémon instantly. The power of Nature's Madness is outstanding even among divine beasts. However, such a terrifying skill was blocked by a little Pikachu's Electro Web. The Skin God is invincible. Wakao. Is this the Pie God? There are two kinds of Pikachu in the world. One is the Bad Street Electric Mouse, and the other is the Pikachu called Xiaozhi. So far, Skin God has just surpassed 3 mythical beasts. My class would like to call you the strongest. Pikachu's great power made everyone completely forget the fact that they were betting on Tapu. A Pikachu can exert such power, it is really shocking. Everyone involuntarily started shouting and applauding for Pikachu. At this moment, Pikachu, who blocked the divine attack with his mortal body, attracted everyone's attention. Open black lens bracket Diantha. Lance. Close black lens bracket, Dandy. Ha ha ha, fortunately, I believe Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. Alder. I believe that Shitaro is right. It seems that the points have been saved again this time. If this continues, maybe I can accumulate enough points to buy the key stone. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Well, Mr. Alder, did you find the key stone in the store? Close black lens bracket. Alder. Yes, but it costs 2 million, and the corresponding Mega Evolution stone costs 1 million. Hey, it's still too expensive. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Damn it, if I start suppressing Xiaozhi from the beginning, it's all Lance's fault. You Longdu. Shut up. I didn't talk nonsense in front of you. You pressed yourself based on your feelings. Can you blame me? Close black lens bracket. Lance couldn't stand it anymore. He had endured Diantha's ridicule before, and even he himself doubted whether he had a poisonous constitution. It was possible to lose such a game. He really didn't expect it. Tapu Uwu hits Pikachu. What's the concept? It's similar to Rayquaza playing Caterpie, right? How could he lose like this? Lance's head is split open. So he wisely acted like a coward. However, M.I. Kelly came to interfere, and he couldn't bear it anymore. You may say that he tolerated the poisonous milk in the back, but everyone agreed with it in the front, right? When it comes to poisonous milk, everyone should poison milk together. Pikachu, you have become so strong. Pikachu. Pikachu is full of admiration for himself in the picture. When he will be able to reach the realm of himself. 0. Please give me flowers. That handsome posture almost gave him a high C. Even Pikachu didn't dare to recognize that it was him. Xiaozhi and Pikachu. I will be waiting for you at the top of the world. I'm looking forward to fighting with you. Dandy grinned at Xiaozhi and Pikachu. Advertisement. I always feel like fighting against this boy and Pikachu. It would be quite exciting. The top of the world. I don't agree with this sentence. If it's really the top of the world, it should be me. The invincible dragon messenger Du has spoken. Why is this guy always the void champion? He hasn't even fought yet. It's like waiting for Xiaozhi at the world's mightiest position in the future. Have you asked me for my opinion on the invincible dragon envoy? Haha, now that I have a mega evolution, I may not be able to join in the competition of world's mightiest. Diantha said with a smile. If she had been before, she would not even be able to touch the heel of world's mightiest. But it will be different after Mega evolves. There is no restriction on dual systems in the competition. I use Mega on my left and right hands. Is that reasonable? Currently, there is no Mega Evolution Z move in the world and it has not been released, so there is no saying that only a single system can be used in the 8 Masters competition. Okay, let's wait until the championship match in 2 days. Now let's watch Xiaozhi's match first. Tapu Koko hasn't lost his fighting ability yet. At Cynthia's reminder, everyone once again turned their attention to the big screen. Electro Web limits nature's madness, and the explosion should have had some impact on the Tapu inside. The huge smoke dispersed, and Tapu Koko's figure also appeared in the screen. 0. Almost no harm. Everyone has forgotten that the mythical beast seems to be better at physical strength and durability. Much stronger than normal Pokémon. Don't look at it now. Pikachu is suppressing him to fight, but in the long run, Pikachu may not be able to defeat Tapu. This is a flaw that ordinary Pokémon cannot change. Lance also thought of this and was about to make a confident statement. Then he suddenly thought of something and stopped his dirty hands. If the prediction is wrong again, I am afraid that the title, Thundermilk, will really be inseparable from him. Pikachu, quick attack, Pika. Pikachu turned into a phantom and instantly disappeared into the smoke. Tapu Koko kept turning his head and looking around, but he couldn't figure out Pikachu. A few seconds later, Pikachu appeared in the blind spot where Tapu was whining. Then quick attack suddenly burst out, and a stream of light passed through the air. It tackled Tapu fiercely. Being attacked suddenly, Tapu whimpered and was knocked out of his body, falling directly into the ground, smashing the already broken ground into pieces. Now, Electro Web. Pika Pika Pika, Chupika, Tapu, get out of the way. Professor Kukui tried to use quick dodge to avoid the god level. But as soon as Tapu floated from the ground, he was directly hit by the Electro Web. Woo tried to use the hard shell to tear off the Electro Web, but this is the Electro Web that can defend against nature's madness. It's impossible to tear it apart. Come on Pikachu. 100,000 volt. Pikachu. Pikachu jumped into the air, performed a beautiful flip in the air, and a terrifying golden spark burst out from his body. The electric light turned into a thundersnake, directly hitting the trapped Tapu. Tapu Koko, discharge block him. Pooh. Boom. Tapu Koko, who releases discharge in Electro Web, directly changes the area wrapped by Electro Web into saffron color. Plus Pikachu's Thunderbolt collision, a huge explosion occurred instantly. Thunder shot straight into the sky. A violent hurricane set off. Xiaozhi and Kukui held down their hats at the same time to prevent them from flying away. The aftermath of the explosion lasted for tens of seconds before slowly stopping. The smoke dissipated and Tapu and Pikachu were still standing there. At this time, Tapu Koko already had a lot of wounds on his body, and he was panting. And Pikachu, although Tapu never touched him from beginning to end. But he unleashed many huge tricks one after another, and even counter-injury moves like high-voltage thunder shock. It also made him start to pant. How could such a high explosive power come without a price? This battle is dizzying from start to finish, no time to breathe at all. Xiaozhi, you have really become stronger. Well, I've become stronger, Professor Kukui. Hearing Professor Kukui's praise, Xiaozhi's eyes were a little moist. It's like a child who got 100 points in the test was praised by his father. Normal. KPU, Tapu Koko also nodded in agreement, then, he started singing. An ancient spell spreads across the stadium, in less than 10 seconds. 3 figures flew from various places. They landed in the sky above the stadium. Chapter 70. Giant Guard Alolav's 10 million volt Thunderbolt. A devastating battle, can be eaten with BGM. Novel image, advertisement as Tapu Koko sang. 3 figures came to the sky above Monaro Stadium. Professor Kukui. What's going on? Why are the patron saints of the other 3 islands here? Close black lens bracket. Dandy. Are the 3 of them also patron saints? If you look closely, they do seem a bit similar to Tapu. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Why did Tapu call the patron saints of the other 3 islands Could it be that he can't defeat the Shaker? Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. No, that's not the case, is it? The patron saint shouldn't be so stingy, right? Close black lens bracket. Kukui felt a little weak for a moment, other patron saints may not. But Tapu, with his unpredictable temperament, might actually be able to do things that are unbeatable. If this is the case, if nothing else, his side will definitely be judged to have lost. After all, 2 Pokémon are fighting well, why do you want 3 people to help? There is no difference between winning and losing in 4-on-1, right? In the eyes of everyone, Tapu Koko also flew to the side of the 3 guardian saints above. The 4 patron saints sang songs together and danced a mysterious dance. Countless energy particles swayed down. Xiaozhi, Pikachu, and even the surrounding audience closed their eyes. It can be seen from their expressions that they feel very comfortable bathing in those energy particles. Pikachu also recovered directly from some injuries caused by the high-voltage thunder shock. But, what's even more outrageous is that Tapu's injuries have all recovered. What does this mean? Do you want a rematch? You can't justify asking for a rematch, right? This is a bit unfair to Pikachu. The injuries received by everyone are not at the same level. Besides, Tapu Koko still has some damage caused by Naganadel and Lycanroc before. Now you said that both sides should fully recover their injuries and physical strength, and then start a fight. No matter how you look at it, it's unfair. Even if 99% of the people in the world bet on Professor Kukui to win. But, if we win in this way, then 90% of people will not agree. In the image, after Tapu finished singing, he came to Professor Kukui. A small but extremely bright golden light slowly fell in front of Professor Kukui. This is Tapunium Z. After Professor Kukui saw clearly the light energy points on his hands, he couldn't help but scream. Holla. What? It's actually Tapunium Z. That's the exclusive Z crystal that can only be used by the Tapu family. Holla. In ancient legends, Tapu and the Brave together used their exclusive Z move to save the Alola region. According to rumors, if 4 Tapu use the Z move together, they can even destroy the entire Alola region. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. So, Tapu Koko not only called the Guardian Angel to restore his 320 physical strength, but also prepared to use the move that could save Alola and destroy most of the Alola region. Xiaozhi? Steven. Gigi, will Xiaozhi destroy the Alola region after winning? Why do you need to use such terrifying moves to deal with Xiaozhi? Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. I think Tapu Wuwu may just want to fight Xiaozhi with all his strength, but Z move can only be used once in a battle. Z ring there should be no energy left. The real Professor Kukui just typed this text. Kukui in the image has already raised his left hand. The silver bracelet on his left hand radiates bright light. That mysterious dance just now, in addition to restoring physical strength, did it also charge the energy emperor of the bracelet? You don't want to use your Z move here, hey ha. Tapu Koko excitedly raised his hands in agreement. What a mess. Professor Kukui looked around at the crowded stadium. He naturally knows the legend of Tapunium Z if that kind of terrifying power is used here. Let's not talk about Pikachu. I'm afraid everyone here can't bear the aftermath of the move, right? Hey ha. Tapu Wuwu seemed to know Professor Kukui's worry, so he shouted. The remaining 3 patron saints seemed to have received the order and appeared in 3 places in the stadium in a triangle shape. Then huge power burst out from their bodies. Pink light enveloped the entire stadium. Xiaozhi looked at the movements of the guardian gods in a daze, wondering what they were doing. Hey ha. You mean, this way you don't have to worry? But are you sure Pikachu? Hey ha. I see. They're the ones you recognize. Then let's try it. The power of Tapunium Z. Professor Kukui was finally persuaded. The venue is shaded by 3 guardian spirits, and Pikachu's power is there for all to see. He also wanted to try it out to see how powerful Tapu is. Xiaozhi. Use Z moves to show off. Professor Kukui waved the glowing Z ring in his hand and shouted to Xiaozhi. Only then did Xiaozhi belatedly discover that the Z ring in his hand was actually emitting light. Can I use Z move again? That's right, I will use the Tapunium Z that Tapu gave me to attack. Xiaozhi, you can also use the Z move to attack. Tapunium Z. Interesting, so interesting. Pikachu, let's go. Pickup. Faced with Xiaozhi's excited speech, advertisement. Pikachu stood opposite Tapu without fear, with high fighting spirit. What exclusive Z, what destruction Alola's power, his big skin teacher has no fear. As long as he is with Xiaozhi, he can exert their own power. They are invincible. You Longdu. Do you really want to use the Z move? Oh, I don't want to say it, but isn't this a win? It can destroy a quarter of Alola's power. Even if Pikachu uses the Z move, he can still take it. Not going down, right? Close black lens bracket. Lance didn't care about the flag at this time. He could still lose in this situation. He threw away his cloak on the spot. Diantha. I think, no matter how powerful Lance's poisonous milk is, it shouldn't affect this level of battle, right? That's a move that can destroy Alola. There's no way Pikachu can take it. Wallace. If you can block it for 3 seconds, you will be successful. Dante. Tapu's exclusive Z. It even requires 3 guardian gods to protect the stadium. How powerful is this move? I really want to see it right away. Close black lens bracket. Alder. But this is still a bit of a rogue, right? Before, Tapu Koko's physical strength was probably less than half, but now he has fully recovered. It's too unfair for Pikachu. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Forget it, Xiaozhi didn't say anything. It's hard for us to discuss merits and demerits. It's more important than this. Close black lens bracket. In the video, the two sides have already begun a one-on-one duel. Both parties installed the Z Pure Crystal on the Z Ring at the same time, as can be seen from the picture. Xiaozhi's Z is just an ordinary electronic Z, while Professor Kukui's Z is engraved with Tapu's face. In terms of Z Pure Crystal alone, Xiaozhi is already weaker. Then, Professor Kukui crossed his hands in front of him, and the silver Z ring emitted a bright golden light. After the Z Pure Crystal was activated, Professor Kukui began to dance and shouted loudly at the same time. Legendary moves passed down from the distant past to this day. Pokémon, humans and nature coexist harmoniously. All things in the world are born out of the same boat, the ultimate Z power. Kukui assumes the normal posture of a flying bird, and golden light bursts out from his body and Tapu Koko's body. The bright light was fleeting, and after a few seconds of silence, the entire stadium. It shouldn't be said that the entire Alola ground is shaking. Finally, in the stunned eyes of Xiaozhi and Pikachu, the ground at Monaro Stadium is completely cracked. 2 huge golden palms grasp the cracked ground as if crawling out of the abyss. Then climb up bit by bit. The already cracked ground shook wildly, the underground rocks protruded one after another. The stone edge used by Lycanroc before, compared to the current scene. It's literally the difference between an ant and an elephant. Boom. After a huge roar, a golden giant with a height of more than 10 or 20 meters appeared on the stadium. Everyone, regardless of the audience at the Monaro Stadium, or maybe people watching the game in the real Pokemon world, were dumbfounded. Is this really the power that Pokemon can unleash? What's going on with this terrifying giant? Is this the power of the legendary Tapunium Z? It really deserves its reputation, if it were this giant? I'm afraid destroying 1% of the plate is really not a problem. Dandy. This move. I feel like my Charizard might be able to catch it if I use the gigantic skill after going Gigantamax. It's really scary. Close black lens bracket. You Longdu. I compared it with Moltres. If it were this move, I feel like one punch could kill Moltres. Close black lens bracket. A day. Open black lens bracket. Cynthia. Tapu is not going to beat Xiaozhi to death, is he? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Is the power that the Tapu clan used to protect Alola now used to prevent Xiaozhi from winning the championship? Hey, this is an exhibition match. Do you want to be so exaggerated? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Steven. It's a success if Pikachu doesn't die. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Come on Shitaro. Defeat him. You are Alola's champion. You represent Alola's strongest status. Close black lens bracket. Hala. Mr. Alder, even if he is the champion, he only gains status by winning battles with others. However, the person standing in front of Xiaozhi now is a god, and he belongs to a god, extremely poor. Xiaozhi, do you want to deal with that kind of thing? Lily is a little confused. From the looks of it, no matter how strong Pikachu is, he can't win. That giant that emerged from the earth is really intimidating. Xiaozhi, come on. Serena closed her eyes and made a prayer gesture with her hands. Xiaozhi, can you win? Misty looked at the terrifying golden giant on the screen and was a little frightened for a moment. Will Xiaozhi actually want to fight against this kind of rival in the future? Pikachu, we can win, right? Pikapi, Pikachu's eyes are firm, he can definitely win. He will be so powerful in the future, plus with Xiaozhi by his side. If you use those Z moves, they may not be worse than that golden giant. I also think, we can win, future me, come on. In the image, this is also the first time Xiaozhi has seen Tapu's exclusive Z move. Then in front of the screen, dear viewers, facing the golden giant, he can feel even greater pressure. The extremely terrifying pressure made Xiaozhi breathless for a time. Is this the ultimate Z move that once guarded Alola? Stab. Advertisement just when Xiaozhi was stunned. The black bracelets on his left and right suddenly glowed with electricity. On the original electric Z Pure Crystal, suddenly there is a symbol similar to Pikachu's tail. This is exclusive Z, but even if it's Tapu's exclusive Z, it's just a matter of replacing the middle symbol with Tapu's avatar. And Xiaozhi's. His tail symbol has exceeded the size of the prismatic crystal block. Someone else's exclusive Z is to change the avatar in the middle. Xiaozhi's exclusive Z directly changes the shape of the crystal block. Is this Pikachu's exclusive Z? Why did it suddenly become like this? I don't know. Stop asking, we're going to start a fight. Xiaozhi was also stunned when he saw the new Z in his hand, and then a bright smile appeared on his face. This is the new Z move that appeared when Pikachu and he rescued Lily's mother. Now he must have sensed their mood and appeared in his hands again. Unlike normal Pikachu's exclusive Z move, this is Pikachu's exclusive Z move that belongs only to him. Abbreviation. GBZ. Yoshi. Let's go Pikachu. Xiaozhi put his hat on Pikachu's head and crossed his hands. Let everyone see our full strength, Pikachu. Pikachu's light flashed by, Pikachu held his hat steady and then splash on the spot. The right hand fist bumps with Xiaozhi, and the tail bumps with Xiaozhi's left fist. Golden electric light appears on Xiaozhi and Pikachu. Xiaozhi shouted while making corresponding movements. 1,000,000 volts more powerful than thunderbolts. Pickup. No, it's more powerful, our superpower. Pika Pika. At the same time, Ka Mingming, who summoned the golden giant, also set off. He closed his double shells on both sides, it turned into a chicken head-like appearance and was combined on the headless golden giant. At this time, Professor Kukui and Tapu Koko became one and made the same gesture. Tapu Uwu, giant guardian Alola. As Professor Kukui shouted, he punched the ground fiercely. The huge golden giant even waved his terrifying fist. Like meteorite falling to normal, some huge rocks even appeared in the middle due to vibrations. They were all smashed to pieces by the golden giant's punch. At the same time, Xiaozhi and Pikachu, 10,000,000 volt thunderbolt. Pika, 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 soaring in the sky, which used to be clear and clear, suddenly became covered with dark clouds. Huge golden electric lights are constantly intersecting in the sky, terrifying thunder shuttles between the dark clouds. Under Pikachu's shout, the mighty thunder fell from the sky and landed on him. Pikachu's whole body bursts with golden arrogance. Mega Saiyan First Order. In front of the golden giant's fist, Pikachu is like a little insect, normal. But now, the cockroach is going to shake the tree. After receiving the power of thunder from heaven and earth, Pikachu suddenly splash. After a flip in the air, his limbs spread out, and the power accumulated in his body completely exploded. Thunder and lightning in 7 colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, jumped out. They are like pillars of normal, standing in front of the giant's fist. The two sides were in a stalemate for a while, however, the terrifying energy is constantly spreading. The earth is cracking, and soaring in the sky is roaring. The barriers created by the 3 patron saints actually had some cracks. If there was no patron saint, the audience would probably be dead? Kakakaka. The forces of both sides are still colliding. The giant tried to push his fist down, Skin God tries to put spark through the fist. Don't give in. Drink Professor roared. The power of the Z move is closely related to the trainer. The stronger the trainer's fighting spirit, the stronger the Power King will be in the zone. The giant's fist slowly suppressed the colorful divine light amid Professor's roar. Chapter 71. Idealism 10,000,000 volt Thunderbolt. Pikachu kills gods 3 times, double bonus. Advertisement. The giant's fist slowly suppressed the colorful divine light amid Professor's roar. However, the expressions of Pikachu and Xiaozhi did not waver at all. Instead, he looked even more excited. Pikachu, let Professor see our superpower. Xiaozhi and Pikachu put their hands together in the shape of a calyx. Then he slowly placed it on his waist, and then swung it out hard. Pikachu version of turtle-style Qigong. After Xiaozhi shouted these words, the golden light around Pikachu increased several times again. The colorful sparks surrounding it suddenly increased to the size of a bucket. The giant guard who was slowly pressing down the 10,000,000 volt thunderbolt paused for a moment and was slowly pushed back. Professor Kukui was shaken all over, and there were some beads of sweat on his forehead. Now he has used all his physical and mental strength on the Z move. You know, this is the ultimate Z move that can resist the ultimate beast and protect the Alola region. However, such a Z move can't defeat Xiaozhi and Pikachu's exclusive Z move. Z move requires the trainer and Pokémon to make corresponding postures, and maintain the belief to move forward. Now Professor Kukui's belief and posture are beginning to waver. Now Xiaozhi and Pikachu's hands are in the shape of calyxes, and their faces also look like they're going all out. Just then, the scene changed. Xiaozhi and Pikachu appeared in a white space. Pikachu looked stunned and looked around, wondering what was going on. On the contrary, Xiaozhi's expression turned cold after being stunned. Feel it, Pikachu? Pick up? This is Alola's power? After coming to Alola, we felt this power in many places. A tour of the islands. The ultimate journey. A battle with powerful enemies. With Xiaozhi's narration, Xiaozhi's experience in Alola was transformed into an image and presented to the world. People outside of Alola lament that Xiaozhi's experience at Alola is really rich. And the people in Alola, they are stupid. How did this person named Xiaozhi meet the legendary Pokémon after coming to Alola? More than those of them who have stayed in Alola all their lives. Was that Solgaleo just now? Lily murmured. For unknown reasons, she was unable to contact Pokémon. However, she really likes Pokémon in her heart, so she knows the legend of Alola very well. The lion-shaped Pokémon that flashed across the screen just now, Wasn't it the legendary and powerful beast, Solgaleo? That is a mythical beast that is even stronger than the island god. And she also saw herself, Xiaozhi, Shui Lian and others sitting on it. So, after Xiaozhi arrives, can she also have access to Pokémon? Professor Kukui was also shocked. Xiaozhi. What kind of rich experience did he bring to Alola? While being shocked, Kukui was also looking forward to Xiaozhi's trip to Alola. By then, a lot of interesting things will definitely happen. 11. In those times, we can always feel the power. The scene cuts back to Xiaozhi and Pikachu. Now is the time for us to become one with these forces. Pick up. After the words fell, Xiaozhi and Pikachu returned to the battle stadium. The expressions of one person and one mouse became even more excited, their faces twisted and they began to yell wildly. Drink Pika Pika Pikachu, 10 times Kaio Fist. The painting style of one person and one mouse changes suddenly, and the powerful lines of power depict the emotions they burst out. In the last roar, the power of 10 million volt Thunderbolt increased several times again. Giant Guardian Alola's huge fist finally couldn't resist it, it started to crack inch by inch. The power of 10 million volt Thunderbolt bombarded all the way along the golden arm. Boom! The golden arm was completely shattered, and the 10 million volt Thunderbolt directly hit Tapu on the head. In an instant, the ground shattered, a level 18 Twister Storm crazily swept through the stadium. The 3 patron saints shine brightly, the already bright protective shield has an extra layer of power. However, the powerful shield composed of 3 patron saints actually cracked every inch. The aftermath caused by the collision of 2 heaven-destroying skills. Even the 3 patron saints couldn't resist it. From this we can see how terrifying Tapu's Z skill is. I'm afraid even the exclusive skill attack of Normal's first level god is nothing more than this, right? But what's even more perverted is Pikachu's Z skill. It can be seen from the end that Pikachu and Xiaozhi should have assisted Alola's natural power. Advertisement increased the power of their Z moves. But, even if they don't get the boost, their 10 million volt Thunderbolt can still withstand the power of the Giant Guard. Skin God, well deserved. Alchemy. What a terrifying power. Pikachu's 10 million volt Thunderbolt, the final power should be stronger than Charizard's Supergiant Hellflame. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. As expected of Xiaozhi and Pikachu, they can always exceed the expectations of everyone in the world and accomplish the impossible. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Chitaro and Pikachu even defeated the Divine Beasts. And they almost took away 2 lives of the Divine Beasts. Close black lens bracket. After Alder's reminder, everyone remembered, before using the Z move, Pikachu had knocked out at least half of Tapu's health. Now Z move defeated Wu Ming once again, which is equivalent to a few times. Yulongdu. Don't be embarrassed. The results haven't come out yet. Look at the explosion on the field. Can you tell what the result is? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Thanks to Lance for sending me one. Close black lens bracket, Steven. Thanks to Lance for the dying struggle. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. You guys. While Lance was complaining about everyone in the barrage, he was praying in his heart. Tapu Koko. I must win. Win for me. Losing points is a trivial matter, but the problem is losing face all the time. It's fine if you keep losing, but if you lose this time, you'll even be called a poisonous B***ch. In the future, when others think of Yulong Crossing, they will not immediately think of Dragon Crossing. Instead, I thought of Dunaidu, Clear Cliff. Mewtwo looked at the picture on the screen, looking dazed. Have that boy and that Pikachu grown to this point? Even he himself may not be able to take those 10 million volt Thunderbolt. You know, he is stronger now than he was on Unnamed Island. Is this the power of the bond between humans and Pokémon? This power. Can he also have it? In the image? Even if tens of seconds have passed, the explosion is still continuing. However, Tapu's protective shield can no longer hold up. Kakakaka. Boom. With a crisp sound, the Tapu's protective shield was completely shattered. Violent energy swept the entire place. Pikachu has now bounced out of the energy of the explosion and is standing in front of Xiaozhi. But Tapu Wuwu was still inside the energy wave of the explosion. The terrifying hurricane made it very difficult for Kukui, Xiaozhi, and Pikachu to stay on track. After a few seconds, the hat on Pikachu's head flew off. And Kukui also pressed the hat on his head hard to prevent it from flying out. Rocks were flying all over the field and dust was scattered. After a long time, the aftermath of the explosion finally subsided. Pikachu lay on the ground with half-closed eyes. The 10 million volt Thunderbolt had used up all his strength just now. If Tapu still has some energy left, I'm afraid, they will lose this competition. After the aftermath subsided, the audience could finally see clearly what was happening on the field. Tapu Wuwu is floating in the air, and it is still falling slowly. Yulongdu. Ha 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 ha. Did you see that? I am not a poisonous milk. Tapu Koko has not lost her fighting ability yet. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. On the other hand, Pikachu. Now he has no strength. I'm afraid he can't even use quick attack. there is no doubt who the winner of this battle is. Close black lens bracket. Lance is completely crazy. Tapu Koko is still floating in the air, which means that he has not lost his fighting ability. But Pikachu fell down from exhaustion. He can finally claim the title of Poisonous Milk. In the image, Tapu whined and fell slowly. When he was about to drop to the ground, he suddenly fell directly to the ground. He turned his face to the ground, made a splash, and stopped moving. The camera zoomed in on Tapu Koko's face. At this time, Tapu Koko had closed his eyes and lost consciousness. Seeing this, Xiaozhi's body softened and he sat down on the ground. Then he lay down directly. Professor Kukui, I'm here. At the end of the picture, there is Xiaozhi's bright smiling face, and Pikachu lying on the ground with a comfortable expression on his face. And at this time Lance, who was in the house near the Indigo Plateau Conference, his ecstatic face instantly froze. Tapu. Lost? Actually. Lost? Damn it, if you lose, you will fall down. You are still floating in midair to give people some hope, right? Lance just wants to find some dirt to bury himself in. He just made the flag declaration. Cynthia. Tapu Koko said, I was still able to perform one move, but a mysterious force caused me to lose the ability to fight. Close black lens bracket. Steven. You can't win at all. No one can beat Lance's mouth. Diantha. Alas, I will have to fight against Adu from now on. Alchemy Emperor. Is the power of Mr. Lance's poisonous milk so terrifying? Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Lance. If you don't say anything, I will definitely not win the Kanto Championship, right? Close black lens bracket. The barrage at this time was all hinting at Lance's magical power. Advertisement: this kind of game that is basically a win-win situation can actually be lost. How terrifying. Lance can only pretend to be mute at this time. This brow must never be touched. If it really breaks out, it will only make those people's discussion more lively. Sure enough, when Lance didn't speak, everyone felt it was boring and slowly died down. Although Lance's matter is no longer discussed, but this does not mean that the topic is over. In other words, the storm has just begun. You know, the scene that just happened represents the birth of a new era. Being able to defeat divine beasts with Pikachu, and even being able to make Dan Emperor say that one attack may not even be comparable to him. This shows that Pikachu already has the strength of the top champion trump card. Even without the blessing of Alola's power, it is still the top Pokémon in the world. But that's just a Pikachu. There are more than 300 races, and the second stage of evolution is like a bad Pokémon in the Kanto region, Pikachu. However, such a Pokémon can actually defeat Dandy, Cynthia's top-notch main force, trump card. What freaking Pikachu is this? Everyone's trump card is either a Charizard that can be specially maximized. Either the quasi-god Garchomp, or the quasi-god Metagross. What is your Xiaozhi trump card? Pikachu. I don't know if there will be anyone coming later. But this is absolutely unprecedented. The trump card Pokémon represents the champion. Open black lens bracket. Professor Kukui's Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi's winning rewards will be distributed at a later date. Close black lens bracket. In addition, Professor Kukui's Incineroar successfully defeated the mythical beast and received additional rewards. Xiaozhi Pikachu successfully defeated the divine beast and received additional rewards. Therefore, Xiaozhi gets double rewards, and Professor Kukui gets one reward. Close black lens bracket. The whole world went silent when these lines appeared on the screen. It turns out, in addition to the winner on the screen, there are also additional rewards for defeating mythical beasts. As for why there wasn't one before, maybe it's because it wasn't a large-scale battle between gods. In the past, it was a one-on-one duel. If you win, you will naturally get the reward for winning. And now it's a big battle between gods. Several of the battles here can actually be reviewed separately. It's just that Tiandao inventory directly integrates the battle. Therefore, Xiaozhi received a reward, a big reward. And the rewards that the two of them will get later are the rewards for winning the small battle. To put it simply, the battle between Roaring Tiger and Pikachu can actually be taken separately and counted as a match between mortal bodies and gods. In addition, it does not mean that you can be considered as equal to a god if you have fought with a mythical beast. At least you need to have almost the same strength to be considered a normal battle. As long as it counts as a competition, even if the mythical beast wins, you can still get rewards. However, in the battle between Meloetta and Empoleon, as well as Naganadel, the power gap is too big, so it is not considered one of the official competitions. Otherwise Xiaozhi could still get 3 more rewards. Many people in the world are envious, get 2 rewards in one game. And Professor Kukui can get rewards even if he loses. Isn't this great? Many people also dream that one day they can go up and take stock of the list. You might even get a reward. Brother Xiaozhi is really too strong. He can even defeat the sacred beasts. Is that Pokemon really Pikachu? It's not a mythical beast wearing Pikachu skin, is it? The powerful Z move used by Tapu Wuwu was able to destroy most of Zhao Qian's Alola. However, Xiaozhi Pikachu was able to block it, even completely smashed it. Rounding it all off, Xiaozhi Pikachu can destroy Alola? Hiss, so terrifying. After this review, the fame and strength of Xiaozhi and Pikachu have risen to a new level. It can kill the divine beast at first, but it can be defeated by novice Snivy at worst. For such a strong Pikachu, losing to Snivy is probably a black mark that will remain unchanged in his life. And Xiaozhi is even more heavyweight, although he has traveled to so many regions, judging from his face, time does not seem to have passed very long. 15 years old is amazing. The 15-year-old champion, even the Dan Emperor can't compare. Moreover, Xiaozhi's lineup this time is the newly conquered Pokémon in Alola. How long do these Pokémon breeders last? A year and a half, right? It takes 1 year to train Pokémon to elite level. There are even some champion level ones. I think Melameta and Naganadel can both reach the championship level. Rounding it all off, it's not too much to say that I won the championship at the age of 10? For such a talented trainer, I guess Kanto Alliance is already planning how to train him. And they have to send manpower to protect Xiaozhi. The appearance of such a heavyweight in Alliance can be a devastating blow to the villain organization. If Xiaozhi is allowed to grow up, he will definitely become another Dan Emperor, Cynthia-level figure. Then Alliance's power would be too powerful. Steven. This game is really full of surprises. All Xiaozhi's Pokémon, including Professor Kukui's Pokémon, have shown a side that we can't predict. Dandy. A very exciting game, I think. It's not worse than the duel between the 8 masters, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Professor Kukui puts a lot of energy into knowledge, otherwise, he should be able to reach the level of a championship level trainer, close black lens bracket. Champion level trainer requires at least 4 champion level Pokémon to get this title. Those were the best trainers in the world. Today's 8 masters are nothing more than that. Chapter 72. Kukui's Reward, Absorbable Charcoal, Monaro Stadium Blueprint. Advertisement recognized by several masters, Professor Kukui's strength is beyond doubt. Moreover, Cynthia and others said that Kukui's own combat power is almost comparable to that of the champion trainer. If we add Tapu Wuwu, the 8th master today is almost at this level. In other words, Xiaozhi in Alola already has the power of the 8th master level. Whether it's the strength of the Pokémon or his level as a trainer. Dandy. Xiaozhi will definitely become no less than me in the future, close black lens bracket. Kaido. Is Dan Emperor saying this a little too much? No matter how powerful Xiaozhi is, he probably can't compare to Dan Emperor, close black lens bracket. Chibana. That's right, as the only rival I recognize, don't admit it to others so easily, UB***********. Although Xiaozhi's performance has been very outstanding. But the owners of Galar, Kaido, Kibana and others still don't think Xiaozhi can be stronger than Dandy. After all, Emperor Dan is the strongest champion in the history of Galar. Charizard suppressed all the gym owners with one hand and couldn't lift their heads. Even leaving aside Charizard, the rest of his main force is still very powerful. Xiaozhi's Pikachu is indeed very strong, but how can he possibly compete with Alchemy's Charizard? It is even said that Dandy's other Pokémon completely crushed Xiaozhi's Pokémon. The two people who have always regarded Dan Emperor as a powerful enemy and target will never agree with Dan Emperor's statement. Steven. I think Dandy's statement is not unreasonable. Xiaozhi also has powerful Pokémon other than Pikachu, Charizard, Greninja, and Xiaozhi has traveled to so many regions. Who knows if he has conquered them? What about other powerful Pokémon? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. I think so too. With Xiaozhi's talent and ability, he will definitely not be worse than us 8 masters in the future. Close black lens bracket. The second and third ranked people among the 8 masters both spoke out. Chibana, who is ranked 7th, and Kato, who is not even the 8th master, are not easy to refute. But they are still unconvinced. How could a brat like Xiaozhi be as good as Alchemy Emperor? Even if there is a 1 in 10 million chance of being able to match it, it will be after the age of 20. Becoming a Dan Emperor level trainer within the age of 15? Don't be kidding? Alder. There is no doubt about Chitaro's future achievements, but why doesn't Lance come out to show off? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Lance. Where are you, Lance? I miss your arrogant way. Close black lens bracket. Hard. The fist is hard. Looking at Diantha, who was less than 3 meters away from him, Lance really wanted to go up and punch her twice. But no. Kalo's region. Yeah. Xiaozhi wins again. I knew Xiaozhi could do it. Serena looked very excited at this time. Xiaozhi's victory made her very happy. Then she suddenly remembered that it seemed like she had won her bet again. 14 times 9 million. How much is it? No one knows that the biggest winner since the Tiandao inventory has appeared. She is Serena from Veneval Town. 126 million points can even be redeemed for Arceus Slate in the Tiandao store. It's just unclear what Serena will exchange for it. At Team Rocket headquarters, Giovanni's face is already darker than coal. All those subordinates have been driven away by him. Why are you staying here? Is he embarrassed? I originally thought that Tapu Wuwu could definitely take down that little Pikachu by using the so-called legendary Z move. Who would have thought that it was not Pikachu, but the ultimate creature called the Skin God? Even if Tapu uses the ultimate Z move, it's not his rival. This also adds to Giovanni's defeat. Since becoming the leader of Team Rocket, when has he ever been so angry? Even Mewtwo escaped without feeling this kind of cowardice. Xiaozhi from Pallet Town. Good, very good, Alliance better protect you, otherwise you will never have the chance to grow. A trainer who may become Yulongdu level in the future. How could Giovanni watch him grow up, even if that young man has even the slightest resemblance to him? It's not about appearance, it's about the attitude towards your own Pokémon. Lakeside City, Sinnoh region. Densi was stunned for a while looking at Xiaozhi's winning appearance on the screen. Xiaozhi and Pikachu have repeatedly achieved miracles before. But those rivals are completely different from this rival. This time rival Tapu is not only an electric beast, but also an electric beast with a priesthood. And used that terrifying Z move. Despite this, Pikachu and Xiaozhi still won. In them, Denji saw many things. Maybe I need to regroup. Xiaozhi will challenge the Lily of the Valley conference in the future, which means he may come to my gym. Electivire, Raichu, we have to work hard. One day in the future, we will have a good battle with Xiaozhi. With his Pikachu. Denjimoto's fighting spirit, which had been extinguished by his constant victory, was rekindled. He will wait here for the challenge from Xiaozhi and the others. Little Guido and the others won again. Meow. Pikachu is getting stronger and stronger, he can even defeat Tapu Wuwu. This shows that our pursuit is valuable. This time, we got a lot of points for dragging that kid down. Let's make a stronger robot first. The trio were plotting loudly in the grass near the quartz gym. Advertisement, I was appointed as executive and promoted to branch manager, what a great feeling. 3. Many people have already cast strange glances at me. Why? Are there sounds in the grass? Gary held the teacup tremblingly. He thought it was reasonable for Xiaozhi to win, but it was also unexpected. Originally, he just trusted Xiaozhi instinctively in his heart, and he never expected that Pikachu could actually exert such power. When I think about Indigo Plateau Conference having to fight with Pikachu like that, even Gary was a little scared. It's okay. That Pikachu hasn't grown to that point yet. Yes, that's right. If Pikachu was as strong as it appears on the screen, Xiaozhi's Indigo Plateau Conference would still be in the top 16. Gary, relax Gary. That guy hasn't beaten you many times, don't lose to him. After Gary kept encouraging himself internally, he finally felt better. He drank the teacup in his hand. After reading the rewards of Tiandao inventory, I started to investigate the information of the next rival. Professor Oak's laboratory. Professor Oak looked at Pikachu and Xiaozhi, feeling very emotional for a moment. Pikachu was given to Xiaozhi by him personally. It was an electric mouse with a bad personality. I never expected that he and Xiaozhi could grow to that point. Even the divine beast is not its rival, and Xiaozhi, his own trainer level has also grown tremendously. Every move he makes seems like a champion, as expected of you, Xiaozhi. Pikachu, he is indeed the best partner with you. Professor Oak was thinking as he gently touched the faded sketchbook in his hand. He would take out this book and read it every day. It contained his precious memories. Pikachu. We won again. We won Professor Kukui. We won Tapu Wow. Pikapi. Speaking of excitement, Xiaozhi and Pikachu are the most excited. Before the battle, they had a firm belief that they could win. But they were the ones who felt the most incredible after winning. After all, one is a divine beast, and the other is just an electric mouse. Pikachu has become a fan of his own. It turns out that I am so handsome when I exert my full strength. From now on, I won't be slack off if I can't do it. Congratulations, Xiaozhi, Pikachu, you once again defeated a powerful rival. Emperor Dan congratulated one person and one mouse. The other champions also praised each other, but Lance was the only one who remained silent. Today, he is still doubting life. The dignified dragon fairy turned into a poisonous milk fairy. He still doesn't understand how Pikachu can exert such a powerful calendar. Could it be that the bond between Xiaozhi and Pokémon can allow Pokémon to break through completely impossible barriers? It's not that weak Pokémon can't help breeder, but the possibility of transforming a Pikachu breeder into a beast worthy of the priesthood. No lower than the chance of winning the 100 million lottery 10 times in a row. Otherwise, why would there be so many people pursuing high species strength? For example, what about Pokémon like Gosanji or quasi-god? So Lance is now puzzled. What kind of Pikachu is that? Based on the rules of the previous Tiandao inventory, today's inventory should be the last one, right? Cynthia said softly, her jade fingers were already sliding the Tiandao shop. Although the points haven't arrived yet, it doesn't stop her from starting to buy things in the store. More than 80,000 points. When had she ever been so wealthy? Now you can choose some ice cream to eat, and take some medicine to treat your stomach. Take the medicine directly after eating. JPG. That's right. Today's inventory should be over, and it's not too late. Xiaozhi, you can rest here tonight, and you don't have to go to the Pokémon Center to borrow a room. Steven said very generously. Anyway, his new residence is quite big, not to mention Xiaozhi and others. It wouldn't be a problem for all the champions here to stay. Thank you Mr. Steven. Xiaozhi and others immediately agreed. Although they didn't spend much time together, they have become good friends. It would have been unthinkable to think of it before. Becoming friends with Elite Four champions or something like that. That's not something people at their level can come into contact with. At least for the time being. Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi vs Kukui. Xiaozhi wins, close black lens bracket. The competitive points of everyone who bet on Kukui's victory will be deducted. Many people who were originally well off failed again in this game. Many people have made up their mind that no matter what, they will suppress Xiaozhi next time. The probability of Xiaozhi winning is too high. This time too, Tiandao took stock and put it together. 0. Please give me flowers. Pokémon with previous synopsis can obviously win. Advertisement in this time, a very powerful mythical beast Pokémon has entered the storyline. Logically speaking, the winning rate is 90%, if not 100%, right? However, Tapu Wuwu still lost to Pikachu. It's hard not to doubt whether God is controlling the score. Ah, how can you lose with so much pressure? The next moment, 99% of the people in the world had their points reset to 0. And many people's points also increased dramatically at this moment. Misty and Xiaoging's points exceeded 1 million. Xiaozhi's points reached more than 3.5 million, Dan Emperor and Alder have also reached 460,000. Sister Baekai's simple 80,000 points. The most surprising thing is, Steven, you also defeated Xiaozhi to win. Haha, isn't this what Wallace reminded me? If 90% of the people are betting on one side of a game, then there is no need to suppress it. After all, with my 600 points, even if I bet on it, how much will I get? I'll get back 601 or 602. But if you bet with high odds, it's different. There will always be someone who wants to be a betting dog. Why can't it be me? Steven looked at his 8,004 points and beamed. Finally paid in. When Lance heard this, his heart suddenly became filled with excitement. He also decided that no matter how much he disliked anyone in the future, he would still bet on the one with the higher odds. Poisoned milk and money, you have to get one, right? Poisonous milk is poisonous milk. Don't get stuck with the points. Lance, okay. No one will talk to you anymore. Don't be silent here. Come and help me see if there is anything suitable for Xiaozhi. Diantha smiled at Lance and said, this guy has been silent for several minutes, and no one cares about him. Mainly just to calm him down. Now that the rewards have been distributed, it's time to buy things. Although this has nothing to do with Diantha, a person with 0 points. But Xiaozhi needs to buy it. As his seniors, of course we have to help him pick out some useful items. By the way, Xiaozhi, what did you use the points to buy? Cynthia asked curiously. After all, if Xiaozhi kept winning, his points should be more than this. It's Miss Cynthia. Xiaoging instantly rushed to Cynthia and showed the green backpack on his back to Cynthia like a treasure. This backpack is no different from a normal backpack. But when Cynthia held it in her hand, a look of surprise appeared on her face. Otherwise, this backpack is really too light. It's like there is no weight normal. Logically speaking, at this size, even if there is nothing inside, it should be somewhat heavy. Now that I have explained the function of the large space backpack in detail to the champions. Many champions also looked at the backpack in shock. This thing, if it can be used for research, can it be mass-produced? But this belongs to Xiaozhi and the others. Naturally, it is impossible to use it to do research for Alliance. Who knows how long it will take to do research? If they really want to make any technical breakthroughs, they must honestly accumulate points on their own. This will be a lot more convenient for your travels. Yes. That's why we redeemed this backpack. Well, it's also convenient for me to go out and collect stones. As expected of Steven, this is the first thing that comes to mind. Rewards counting has been completed and has been distributed. Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui obtains absorbable charcoal, the drawings of Monaro Stadium and sufficient funds. Close black lens bracket. Absorbable charcoal. After giving it to a Pokémon, the Pokémon can slowly absorb the energy inside, and finally take advantage of the charcoal's improvement. The effect is, Pokémon's fire-type damage. Permanently increased by 20%. Close black lens bracket. After Professor Kukui saw the rewards counted, he was stunned for a moment, and then he was ecstatic. Although the first absorbable charcoal is also a very precious item. But compared to the second one, it can be said to be nothing worth mentioning. Kukui once challenged the Indigo Plateau Conference, and it was after winning the Indigo Plateau Conference Championship. Only then can he challenge the Kanto Elite Four. Although he was defeated by Yulongdu in the end, it gave him an idea. It is to establish the alliance belonging to Alola in the Alola region. The Alola in the image is obviously already established. Funding, planning, rules and other aspects all require repeated planning. At least he can't do it now, in terms of funding alone. The current relationship between Ether Foundation and him should not be as good as it appears on the screen. Even if they knew he was the Royal Masked Man, they would not necessarily give him money to prepare for the Alola Alliance. The opportunity to establish Alola Alliance should be the arrival of Xiaozhi. But now it will take at least a few years from Xiaozhi to Alola. I thought it would take a few more years for Alola Alliance to be established. He never expected that Indo Inventory actually rewarded him with sufficient funds and the drawings of Monaro Stadium, Spoon. Chapter 73. Reward, Pikachu changes form, 10 million volt Thunderbolt arrives early. Advertisement with the reward of Tiandao Inventory. Kukui can undoubtedly plan the Monaro Conference earlier. Create a conference competition belonging to the Alola region. For manpower and other things, just ask the school to help. And, isn't Steven coming? If Mr. Steven is here, establishing an alliance will undoubtedly be smoother. Unfortunately, there is no way to trade the Z Pure crystals and bracelets from Alola region. No matter who you are, you must pass the trial of the island tour to get the Z ring and Pure crystal. Otherwise, Alola's Z power will be a good foreign trade transaction material. Tiandao took inventory of the things awarded to Kukui. Speaking of which, there may not be the treasures that were awarded to Pikachu and Charizard before. But this is undoubtedly the best thing for Kukui. On the other hand, Xiaozhi's reward this time. Xiaozhi defeated Kukui and obtained. Pikachu directly enters the first turn form and retains the strength of the mid-turn one. There's no need to perform another turn after entering the Hoenn region. Close black lens bracket. Pikachu defeated Tapu Koko and obtained. Xiaozhi Pikachu exclusive Z Crystal, ordinary electric Z Crystal, Z Power Ring. 1. One change of form. What the hell? Does Pikachu still have this form? Are all the Pikachus in the world not as powerful as Xiaozhi Pikachu? Is it because I didn't enter the first round, and the rewards at the back are also heavyweight? I don't know how long it will take before Xiaozhi enters the Alola region. Even if you enter Alola now, with Xiaozhi's current strength, it is really difficult to pass the test of Island Tour. Tiandao Inventory directly saves this effort and uses the powerful Z Ring and Z Pure Crystal. Even Pikachu's exclusive Z was given to Xiaozhi. These rewards are indeed worth Pikachu's difficult journey to defeat Tapu. But, defeating Professor Kukui should be harder. This is a big victory, so what exactly is the 823 thing about the first turn form of the reward? Later, Tiandao Inventory actually explained to Pikachu on the screen. Xiaozhi's Pikachu is blessed by heaven and earth and has unlimited potential. But obtaining these potentials requires some costs. These costs are called reincarnation. Every time Xiaozhi and Pikachu go through a region, Pikachu's power will be rebuilt, weakening 80% of the overall power, and the skills will not be forgotten, in exchange for higher potential and faster improvement speed. Close black lens bracket. Kanto is adjacent to the Chengdu region and will not reincarnate Pikachu. However, after going to the far-flung regions such as Fangyuan or Sinnoh, Pikachu's power will directly weaken. It will slowly recover over time. The so-called mid-term of the first revolution is about when Pikachu enters the Fangyuan region and challenges the strength of the Evergrande Conference. In the later Battle Frontier, Pikachu's strength reaches the peak of the first revolution. Alola region's Pikachu's strength is the peak level of rank 5, close black lens bracket. World audience. Champion trainers, many professors. Both humans and ghosts fell silent. They know Xiaozhi's Pikachu is special. But I never expected that it could be so special. Reincarnate to gain stronger potential and faster upgrade speed. Pikachu achieves unlimited potential through this. What kind of monster Pokemon is this? Even if it is a mythical beast, or even a first-level god. Probably not as special as that Pikachu. Moreover, Pikachu who entered the Alola region is only in his 5th turn form. If he enters Paldea and Galar again, how strong can Pikachu become? For a moment, all the evil organizations were moved. Pikachu is still very weak now. If you can catch it, it will be no easier than catching a mythical beast. You can study it well and get Pokemon that will definitely be powerful in the future. As for being disobedient, just use a special device to control it. However, the next information conveyed by Tiandao Inventory. Many villain organizations gave up the idea of capturing Pikachu. Pikachu can successfully reincarnate only if he travels with Xiaozhi, and Xiaozhi needs to complete the trial of the current region before he can enter the next region for job transfer. Close black lens bracket. For example, Fangyuan region needs to participate in the Evergrande Conference. Open black lens bracket Lily of the Valley Conference in Sinnoh region close black lens bracket. In other words, Pikachu must travel with Xiaozhi in order to become stronger. And you can't talk about a region and immediately go to the next region. Directly block the bug and let Pikachu achieve the achievement of 5 turns and 6 turns. It is necessary that after Xiaozhi and Pikachu have grown sufficiently in the local region. Only then can Pikachu enter the next area for reincarnation. The Alliance Conference, which requires collecting 8 badges to participate in, is a good benchmark. Naturally, Xiaozhi has no objection to this, on the contrary, this is exactly what he wants. So many regions and so many days are waiting for him to participate. For him who has always dreamed of becoming a Pokemon master, this is perfect. And this time, he won't be the same as himself in the image. I couldn't win the championship until Alola Alliance. There are Pikachu, Charizard and even Froakie who arrived in advance after being strengthened by Tendo Inventory. He will never make the same mistake again. As for those villain organizations, if Pikachu can only grow up with Xiaozhi, then there is no value in catching. It's better to destroy them quickly. Advertisement. If you can't get it, destroy it. This is the idea of many villain organizations. Otherwise, Xiaozhi's growth will only pose a threat to them. The little ghost-headed Pikachu is really special and powerful, NYA. But, if you don't travel with the little ghost head, Pikachu won't be so powerful. Idiot. We can always follow Little Devil, and wait until Pikachu becomes more powerful, then grab it. Before that, we can grab some of Little Devil's other Pokémon. For example, that Charizard. Jessie's statement made one person and one cat wake up. There is still such an operation. As expected of Jessie, she can think of all these. As for whether we can catch Charizard and the stronger Pikachu, it can only be said that the Rockets trio are always so confident. After Tiandao took stock and introduced the special features of Pikachu, he added a paragraph of text again. Today's inventory ends here. The inventory will be started again at the same time tomorrow. Also, in addition to mortal bodies comparable to gods and special inventories, a new series of inventories will be launched in the future, so stay tuned. Close black lens bracket. Then, the huge screen turned back to pitch black. No. This time it disappeared directly. It seems that Tiandao inventory is slowly improving something. At the same time, two beams of light soared into the sky. A beam of light flies to the distant Alola region. The other bunch came near the Indigo Plateau Conference. Brush. In Steven's temporary residence, Xiaozhi and Pikachu were enveloped in light at the same time. After a while, the light slowly dissipated, and Pikachu seemed to become a little thinner. And Xiaozhi's hand has an extra one with a main color of black and a little silver bracelet. There is also a golden crystal with a Pikachu tail embedded on it. Z Power Ring and Z. The ordinary electronic Z exists on Xiaozhi's other palm. Everyone knows that this is the reward from Tiandao's inventory. Looking at that black bracelet. Wow, all of you here are some of the most important people in the world. I can't help but feel envious. Powerful Z ring. There's even an exclusive Z. Now Xiaozhi has obtained these two props. If he can use them. The Indigo Plateau Conference competition was undoubtedly a blow to dimensionality reduction. This is a prop that can last a lifetime. And that Pikachu's first transformation form. I said, Pikachu couldn't beat Snivy before. Is it because Xiaozhi just entered the Unova region and his electric skills were banned, so he couldn't beat him? Cynthia suddenly thought of the special inventory she had made before. Pikachu's strength and skill power are completely different from when he fought against Brandon. Maybe because of this, Pikachu lost to Snivy, right? If it is true, as Tiandao inspection said, that Pikachu's power will indeed be weakened every time it reaches 1, it is not impossible that such a thing exists. Lorelei rubbed her chin and analyzed. In this way, Pikachu's fluctuating strength is explained. Compared to that, I want to know how strong the current Pikachu is. Dandy looked at Pikachu with a little excitement in his eyes. The current Dappy teacher is not the 5th turn Dappy in the image. Just a turn of events. It didn't even reach the peak of the first rollover. But, this does not prevent Dan Emperor's hands from being itchy. Mr. Dante, let's fight. With Pikachu and Charizard. Pikachu. Roar. After feeling his own powerful electricity, Pikachu became eager to try. Charizard also has some confidence in himself because of Rainbow Wing. That's all. 2 enhanced Pokémon challenged one of the world's top champions, Dandy. Xiaozhi, are you kidding me? That's Mr. Dan Emperor. One of the 8 mightiest masters in the world. You can't beat him. Yeah Xiaozhi, you haven't even passed the first region now, how can you beat Mr. Alchemy Emperor? Both Xiaogang and Misty dissuaded Xiaozhi. Young people, it is good to have some setbacks. But Xiaozhi has just gained great power now. I even saw my high-spirited self in the future. If you fail miserably here at Dan Emperor, I'm afraid you will be severely hit. It may even affect tomorrow's game. Don't worry, just trust Xiaozhi. Steven crossed his arms and looked at Xiaozhi and Dan Emperor with interest. Yes, maybe you have traveled with Xiaozhi for a long time and know his temperament, but, the Xiaozhi now may be different from the Xiaozhi you know. In just these 2 short days. Cynthia also echoed. They did not spend as much time in contact with Xiaozhi as Misty and Xiaogang. But, this also shows that they have no inherent impression of Xiaozhi. They are very accurate in judging people. Today, Xiaozhi has a high fighting spirit and all he thinks about is victory. Not too much expansion. Even if there is, it is just a young man's small complacency. Advertisement. The future him on the screen has brought a lot of things to him now. That's what he didn't have when he was only 10 years old. So Xiaozhi is different now from before. Haha, I accept your challenge Xiaozhi! Exclamation mark. Let's go to Liberty Stadium to play. Okay, Xiaozhi said, taking Charizard, Squirtle and other Pokémon back. I won't say that I actually forgot about Squirtle and the others. I forgot to give them the camera, ha ha ha. Anyway, after seeing Pikachu's performance, you can imagine Turtle's shocked expression. Liberty Stadium is an arbitrary battle venue located next to the Indigo Plateau Conference. There are no requirements to enter, just a small venue fee. However, when the administrator saw a group of big guys and a young man who was in the spotlight, No money was collected, and everyone was led in to start the competition. In less than 10 minutes, the strongest king of Galar, Dandy, battles against the boy who dominates the rankings. The news about Xiaozhi in Zhengxin town spreads to the doctor. However, when many people heard about it, the battle was already over. According to insiders, Xiaozhi was pressed to the ground and rubbed by Dandy. But, Dandy's evaluation is, at this age, Xiaozhi is far stronger than he was back then. Who is Dan Emperor? Currently ranked first among the 8 masters, he is the favorite to win the championship. And he is the youngest champion in history. What kind of monster is someone who can make such an evaluation of Dan Emperor? Oh, it's Xiaozhi, that's okay, he is a monster to begin with. At night, Xiaozhi was lying on the bed, looking at the ceiling. Pikachu was fast asleep next to him. In tonight's game, he undoubtedly failed miserably. Xiaozhi had already expected this. According to Mr. Lance and others. In the video, Professor Kukui takes Tapu with him. They may not be able to defeat them. Let alone defeat the Dan Emperor now. But he still chose to fight with him. Just to test the upper limit of his current strength. Charizard and Pikachu were defeated by an unheard of Pokémon used by Dandy. It is said that it seems to be one of the 3 imperial families in the Galar region, called the main card of the flame. He can change his attribute according to the moves he uses. It's a very magical Pokémon. After the battle, Dandy's evaluation of Charizard and Pikachu was Pikachu. Below elite, but not far behind. Charizard. Comparable to normal's main gym leader. In time, it will definitely become a trump card Pokémon. According to Emperor Dan, Pikachu's own strength can be much higher than that of Charizard, except for the so-called one turn. Another reason to carry a light ball. Pikachu, who has doubled his power, can defeat Charizard at such a time. No matter which Pokémon it is, as long as Xiaozhi commands it properly. It is very possible to win the championship of this Indigo Plateau Conference. After all, he still has 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Although this move was not used in the match against Dan Emperor. But Xiaozhi's intuition told him. He can use it now. 0.6 is just. After using it, I'm afraid both Pikachu and him will lose their power. That's not a move he can control now, it can only be used at critical moments. Now Xiaozhi is thinking. With his current trainer ability. Can you really command Pikachu and Charizard? In the final analysis, these are not Pokémon he cultivated personally, but the strength he improved through shortcuts. Looking back at himself, although he has some insights. But the level of trainer has not actually improved much. Let alone making the same command as myself on the screen today. Pikapi. A soft cry came, Xiaozhi turned around and looked. He found Pikachu crawling in front of him with half-closed eyes. He seemed to realize that Xiaozhi was not asleep, so he forced himself to stand in front of Xiaozhi despite his sleepiness. I'm fine Pikachu, it's just that your strength has exceeded my trainer level, right? Is it because my command will hold you back? Pikachu. Pikachu. Hearing this, Pikachu forcibly opened his eyes and lectured Xiaozhi. Can't bonds be measured by level? Haha, you still see clearly, Pikachu. Really, I will be educated by you. Rest. Pika. Speaking of which, Miss Diantha seems to have gone back to Kalos. I wonder if that elite named Wickstrom can sleep well tonight. Pika, take care of yourself. Okay, go to bed. After the Indigo Plateau Conference, I have to go to Mr. Lance's family to pick out Pokémon eggs. I feel excited just thinking about it. What kind of Pokémon will I pick? Pikapi, do you want to sleep or not? If not, I will. Ahem, sleep now. When Xiaozhi closed his eyes. The Pokémon egg he placed on the table nearby was slowly emitting a light blue light. Chapter 74. Froakie hatches. Play directly. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Early the next morning, the second game of the Indigo Plateau Conference is about to begin. Xiaozhi also got up early and prepared to go to the venue of Indigo Plateau Conference. In addition, while having breakfast this morning, there was a piece of news that attracted the attention of Xiaozhi and all the champions. Last night, Kalos champion Diantha took a helicopter to Wickstrom's residence and used Gardevoir to engage in a Pokémon battle with him. The result of the battle was very tragic. This news made Alder shudder. This woman is so violent when she goes crazy. He still has Diantha's dark history on his hands. That shameful person shouted Mega Evolution. This time Diantha fought against Wickstrom, and she beat him up without even using Mega Evolution. If Mega evolves, a string of 6s may not be a problem. This is the horror of Diantha. And he, the Unova champion, one of the 8 masters, can't beat Mega Gardevoir. That woman won't come back to settle accounts after liquidating Wickstrom, right? Haha, Diantha is just a little impulsive. In fact, it's not too late to go after watching the Indigo Plateau Conference. We had to take the early flight this morning. How else to say that Cynthia and Diantha are best friends? It's not like one family doesn't want to enter the same house. Do you want to listen to what people say? If you want to hit others, forget it. There is also a saying that Ling Kai hits people. So scary. Cynthia and Diantha are both untouchable. Is Miss Diantha still here this morning? Misty asked confused. Yeah, she's just too angry to go back and beat up Wickstrom. She still wants to come and watch Xiaozhi's game. It turns out that Miss Diantha is such a stingy person. Misty thought to herself. Okay, you're full, everyone. I'm going to compete. Haha, go ahead, we will watch your performance in the main auditorium. Come on Xiaozhi, show off the momentum you had against me yesterday. Come on Chitaro. Everyone started to cheer Xiaozhi. After an inventory of understanding and just one day of getting along. Everyone also regards Xiaozhi and even Misty and Xiaogang as good friends. Elite champions are actually not as inaccessible as others think, they are human beings too. However, if you want to become a friend recognized by them, then in terms of character and combat power. At least one must be able to handle it. Otherwise, there would be so many people who want to be their friends. Don't they want to make friends with people all over the world? Thank you everyone. I'm going. Xiaozhi and Misty Xiaogang came to the main venue of Indigo Plateau Conference. We still have to draw lots today. Now the remaining venue is rock, the venue of ice and grass. Xiaozhi was drawn to the rock venue, and the battle time is still 2 p.m. Taking this time, Xiaozhi is going to collect information about his rival. Rival is a boy named Xiaoyan, no name, just made it up. The Pokémon he has include Graveler, Nidorino, Sandshrew, Ivysaur, Pidgeotto, Butterfree and Onix. Except for Ivysaur, they are basically all common Pokémon. This kind of team, to be honest, just looking at the strength on paper, Xiaozhi is not afraid of him at all. But, as the top trainer of the baby team, he naturally knows not to underestimate any baby. Otherwise, be careful of being treated as a baby shark. Xiaozhi, who has participated in 6 counting games, is undoubtedly a very popular player today. Now he also has many fans. If it had been normal, Xiaozhi would have been so happy. However, Xiaogang and Misty were by his side constantly warning him. Xiaozhi, what they look forward to and like is not you now, but you who will become a champion in the future. If you still want to become the Pokémon master of your dreams, don't indulge in these sweet words. Xiaozhi is not a fool at all. Alerted by 2 friends, he now, smelling salts and. The 3 of them found a Pokémon center to sit down, and after declining a group of fans' autographs and photos. Misty asked Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi, what Pokémon are you going to use against Rock Arena? Rival has a lot of rock-type Pokémon, and it's a rock venue, so I'm going to use water-type Pokémon. But Charizard and Pikachu will definitely be on the field. So you're going to send Kingler, the general from the last game. Or maybe Squirtle, the gang leader. Xiaogang analyzed the water Pokémon in Xiaozhi's hand. For now, there are only these 2. No, I'm going to use him. As he spoke, Xiaozhi took out a red and white ball, with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Xiaogang and Misty are very confused. Apart from Kingler and Squirtle, are there any other water-type Pokémon that you can fight against? Suddenly, Misty seemed to have discovered something, and said with a trembling voice. Xiaozhi, where is your Pokémon egg? At Misty's reminder, Xiaogang suddenly remembered. Why is the Pokémon egg that Xiaozhi couldn't put down last night missing? You know, that Pokémon egg belongs to Xiaozhi's future Greninja. Xiaozhi cherishes it very much. Even rest has to be put aside. Hehe, here it is. Here, Xiaozhi shook the Pokeball in his hand and smiled at the 2 of them. Just this morning, he felt that his face was a little wet. Advertisement. When he opened his eyes, he found a cyanwood-colored frog looking at him curiously with its big Causelan eyes. Xiaozhi was frightened and woke up in an instant. Pikachu, who was sleeping soundly, was woken up instantly. He almost got a thunderbolt. 1 person and 1 mouse recovered and looked at the cyanwood-colored frog Pokemon. He has yellow eyes and seems to be wearing a pair of white gloves on his hands. There is something off-white similar to bubble on the neck and back. Xiaozhi, who checked the information yesterday, instantly recognized what Pokemon this was. Froakie. Why is there Froakie next to my bed? Leng Tu Ching. Xiaozhi still doesn't know where Froakie came from. Pikachu pointed to the empty table beside him. Only then did Xiaozhi realize that this was his Froakie. It's just, isn't the hatching speed too fast? It hatched in just half a day. Kino. Froakie tilted his head and looked at the person who was about to become his trainer. When he was just born, he didn't understand anything. He just regarded the first person he saw as someone close to him. And Xiaozhi was the first person he saw. Froakie, you want to be my Pokémon? Although he was very fond of Froakie, Xiaozhi still asked Froakie. Kino, not understanding anything, he nodded instinctively. It seems that subconsciously, it is his fate to become the Pokémon in front of him, normal. More importantly, he has a lot of affection for the person in front of him. Great. Then, Xiaozhi took out a Pokeball and tapped it gently on Froakie. Froakie turned into a red light and entered the Pokeball. There was no shaking at all, just a click sound. Indicating that Xiaozhi has conquered one of his most powerful generals in the future. He is also the Water Lord with whom he has a strong bond and destiny. Froakie. I got Froakie. Pikachu. That's it, I now have my 3rd water Pokemon. I want Froakie to try it out in this afternoon's game. Xiaozhi on the side looked embarrassed. Xiaozhi, let's not talk about whether the Pokémon is suitable for fighting when it is just born. You haven't fed it just the nutrition after birth, right? The newborn Pokémon is very fragile. It is also the time when the plasticity is at its highest. We have to use some supplies to help Pokémon survive its infancy. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Xiaozhi said as he prepared to take Xiaozhi to buy nutritional supplements. It's not too late now. It can still be remedied. It's okay, Xiaozhi. I studied the knowledge about the newborn Pokémon last night. Of course I know what Pokémon needs when it is born. So, I have already bought it at the Tiandao store. Xiaozhi showed off and took out a small blue bottle. This is the Pokémon First Energy Cube I found at the Tiandao store before rest last night. Although there are only 2 things called energy cubes in it, I read in the introduction that if you feed the first one within 24 hours after birth, and the second one 2 hours later, the Pokémon will be able to perfectly transition to the juvenile stage and reach the stage of infancy. Growth period. It's just that the price is a bit expensive, it cost 200,000 points. A top-level carry item only requires 100,000 points. However, an energy cube that helps Pokémon survive its infancy costs a full 200,000. But the 200,000 is indeed worth the money. It takes at least 10 days and a half for a normal Pokémon to pass through its infancy. And this bottle of energy cube is equivalent to saving 10 days and a half of time. And perfectly brought Pokémon through its infancy. It can be said to be excellent value for money. When Xiaozhi heard this, he also put down his thoughts about mentioning it. He was also secretly thinking in his heart. Xiaozhi seems to be, indeed different. If it were Xiaozhi in the past, how could he have thought of so much? It seems that the Tiandao inventory not only brought growth to Xiaozhi's Pokémon. And Xiaozhi has also achieved sufficient growth. In just 2 days, the changes Tiandao inventory has brought to Xiaozhi are huge. Now Xiaozhi has vaguely developed into the master he will be in the future. Hey, show me Froakie, please. Water-type Pokémon. I really want to see it too. Misty opened her big watery eyes, looking curiously at the Pokeball in Xiaozhi's hand. If it were other Pokémon, maybe she wouldn't want to see covet that much. But water-type Pokémon are different. She has a natural curiosity and affection for all water Pokémon. Except for Gyarados. After all, Gyarados had such a huge shadow on her when she was a child. Okay, come on out Froakie. Quote. Cyanwood-colored Froakie appeared on the table, and fans who had been paying attention to Xiaozhi and others naturally saw Froakie. What Pokémon is this? I've never seen it before. It shouldn't be a Pokémon from the Kanto region. It looks a bit like a frog Pokémon. Is it Brother Xiaozhi's new Pokémon? Everyone knows Greninja. After all, it was a Pokémon that could overpower the champion Gardevoir in less than half a month of evolution. But not many people know about his evolution, Froakie. Advertisement. At least that's the case here at Kanto. Wow, is this Froakie? So cute. Misty couldn't help but hug Froakie, her fair face was croaking. Rubbing on the frog. The frog that just came out didn't know what happened. His eyes also changed into this look. Xiaozhi was observing carefully with his squinted eyes. Judging from the surface fur, eyes, and development level, Froakie has indeed passed the infancy stage. The things in the Tiandao store are really amazing. Xiaozhi, your points. Is there still 3.3 million left? Yes, I want to exchange the remaining points for Charizard's Mega Evolution Stone and Key Stone. Charizard's props. It's also a very suitable choice for you, Xiaozhi. It seems that Xiaozhi has done enough homework recently. Xiaozhi wiped his nose proudly. He is completely different now than before. His current goal is to win the Indigo Plateau Conference Championship. Naturally, you have to seize and find items that can improve yourself. After seeing the powerful self on the screen, how could Xiaozhi be satisfied with who he is now? Kino. Froakie broke free from Misty's restraints and jumped onto Xiaozhi's shoulders. Women will only affect my speed of becoming stronger. I want to play with Froakie for a while longer. Let's go after the game. Froakie, come on, do your best in the first battle. Kino. He has a natural interest in fighting. The time soon came to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was Xiaozhi's competition. Misty and Xiaozhi are still sitting on the coaching bench. It's not that Xiaozhi still needs coaching from them, the main thing is, it's comfortable to watch the game here. It's close enough. Xiaozhi's rival Xiaoyan looks like a boy catching insects. It has nothing to do with the man who said, don't bully young people into poverty. After confirming that his rival was Xiaozhi, he was both excited and timid. The excitement is naturally due to meeting celebrities in the world today. Even if Xiaozhi is not that strong now, it doesn't affect Xiaozhi's fame at all. Cowardice naturally comes to the infamous Pikachu. Yesterday, that Pikachu seemed to have had a big battle with the famous champion. This scared him quite a bit. However, no matter whether you are excited or timid, you still have to compete after all. After the referee announces the start of the game, both sides release their Pokémon at the same time. On Koiwa's side, it's Nidorino. Xiaozhi's side is not Pikachu or Eruption as everyone thinks. It's a cyanwood-colored frog Pokémon. This disappointed many viewers who wanted to see Charizard and Pikachu perform. How do you release a Pokémon you've never seen before? On the contrary, many champions in the main auditorium showed surprised expressions. Diantha, this should be. The money is good, yes, it's our third family of Kalos. Froakie. Facing Cynthia's training, Diantha, who had returned, answered decisively. Xiaozhi's Froakie was born in just half a day. Even if he was born, how could he play the game as Froakie? Yesterday, I saw that there was a breeder named Xiaoging next to him. Xiaozhi doesn't know this truth, doesn't Xiaoging know it too? Could it be that it's because of the nature of children who want to show off unknown Pokémon to everyone? In addition, I want to experience the feeling of using Greninja in advance. Is that why you released Froakie to fight regardless? If this is the case, this game must be terminated. Xiaozhi, who loves Pokémon, will definitely not be willing to let Froakie be indelibly damaged. As long as I explain it to him, he should take Froakie back. Don't worry, look at the breeder next to Xiaozhi. He must know that Xiaozhi hatched Froakie and let him fight. D&D stopped Diantha, who was about to speak, to stop the game. I'm afraid there's something we don't know about this. Maybe that Froakie is no longer in its infancy. How is this possible? All Pokémon need to go through the juvenile stage. Steven retorted subconsciously. After all, it is common knowledge that 80% of people in the world know that Pokémon has a baby stage. Don't forget this thing. Dan Emperor clicked on the pull in front of him. The champions instantly understood that what Dan Emperor was talking about was Tiandao store. If it were that magical store, there might be a way to help Pokémon reach the growth stage in a short period of time. Let's see. Trust Xiaozhi, he is not the person who would do that kind of thing. Cynthia also echoed from the side. After being dissuaded by the two major champions, Diantha finally sat down. The battle on the field is about to break out. The other party also doesn't understand what type of Pokémon Froakie is. We can only try it out first. Chapter 75. Ground is immune to the electric system. It's useless in front of my Pikachu. Advertisement. Nidorino, use Poison Barb. Xiaoyan took the lead in using Poison Barb to test. Roar. The purple Nidorino opened its mouth, and several tiny poison barbs shot out from the mouth. Xiaozhi looked at the scene on the field and was a little dazed for a moment. When Poison Barb was about to hit Froakie, he woke up as if from a dream. Normal shouted loudly. Use Bubble Gas to defend. Hino. Froakie reached back with his hands, and two off-white bubbles appeared in his hands. Then throw it forward. PFF'd. Two groups of bubbles completely defended Poison Barb. The unknown Pokémon used the unprecedented bubble move to defend Poison Barb. ... Just received news here. This frog-like Pokémon is called Froakie. It's a newbie Pokémon in the Kalos region. The final evolution is the Pokémon we all saw yesterday during our inventory, called Greninja. What happened? Player Xiaozhi got Froakie so early. The off-field commentators also received news from Froakie at this time. After learning that Froakie's final form is Greninja, the commentator couldn't help but be surprised. This is the Pokémon that Xiaozhi only got in the Kalos region in the future. How come you got it now? Could it be that Xiaozhi fell in love with Greninja after seeing the video, so he found a way to get a Froakie? In this case, can Froakie still become the heroic ninja frog in the future who can bond with Xiaozhi and evolve? The surrounding audience also had the same doubts. There's no way this Froakie is the same Pokémon as the hero Greninja, right? After all, Tiandao inventory did not say where Greninja came from. While the audience was confused, the battle on the field continued. Froakie, water gun, get out of the way. Xiaozhi looked at Nidorino's movements, his eyes narrowed, and he shouted loudly. Fire the water gun a little to the left of Nidorino. Hino. Froakie obeyed Xiaozhi's instructions and immediately changed the direction of the water gun. The jet of water hits Nidorino's left side, and the direction of Nidorino happens to be on the left. Boom. The water gun directly hit Nidorino, sending it flying to the rock a few meters behind. What is going on? In the eyes of the audience, it was like Nidorino hitting the water gun. If Nidorino hadn't moved, the water gun might not have hit. Lance, do you see that? The contemporary president, Dama Lanchi, asked Yulongdu. Of course I can tell, Xiaozhi's vision has improved a lot now. He had already predicted where the opponent would move before he even started. This is not something that a trainer who has just been out for half a year can do. Lance's analysis is correct. Xiaozhi's eyesight has been greatly improved now due to Tiandao inventory. Although Xiaozhi always laughs at himself for not learning anything. Only your own Pokémon improves. But this is not actually the case. The person fighting above is Xiaozhi himself. And Xiaozhi, who was watching his battle, felt as if he was actually there. In fact, without knowing it, Xiaozhi's commanding level and vision have improved a lot. Therefore, when Nidorino launched Poison Barb just now, Xiaozhi was stunned. Because the speed of Poison Barb is really too slow. Compared with the speed and power of Pokemon's skills in the inventory. It's just like a big witch can't compare to a small witch. There's no way to compare. Now Xiaozhi, has evolved. Very good Froakie. Take advantage of the victory and use bubble gas to stick him. Hino. Froakie took out 2 off-white bubbles again, and then threw them forward hard. Nidorino, who was about to stand up, was firmly glued to the ground. Nidorino tried to struggle hard, but he couldn't break free at all. Give him the final quick attack. After the words fell, Froakie turned into a stream of blue light with a whistling sound. It crossed the entire field and hit Nidorino hard, unable to move. Nidorino was tackled directly to the wall outside the venue. It knocked out some debris from the wall, and finally fell to the ground helplessly. Froakie versus Nidorino. Froakie wins. In the first game, Froakie won easily. This speed, strength, and use of moves are nothing like a newbie Pokémon that was born half a day ago. Instead, he looks like a warrior who has gone through many battles, normal. In addition to Misty Xiaozhi and several other champions. No one knew Froakie was only half a day old. If only we knew that Froakie was only half a day old and could defeat the second evolved Nidorino. It is estimated that the global temperature will rise a lot. Because people all over the world have to take a breath. After identification, this Froakie is also a wall hanging. Yulongdu said with a dark face, now he has a very keen sense of hanging on the wall. From this battle, he has identified that this guy is definitely the Greninja who was involved in the outrageous battle before. It's already so scary before it even grows up. Is it okay to grow up? I just said, how could Xiaozhi be the kind of person to let a Pokémon that has not passed its infancy fight? Advertisement. Steven commented within. I understand very well, look. Didn't Champion Steven just say that there is no Pokémon that doesn't have a baby stage? Bruno unceremoniously dismantled Steven's stage. That's why I didn't think of Tiandao store for a moment. Let's not talk about Mr. Steven's quibbles. When Miss Diantha saw Froakie's performance, there seemed to be a phantom in her eyes. It's like, that's Greninja on the field. Diantha shook her head quickly. Was she being shadowed by the bound ninja frog? What's wrong, Diantha? Let me tell you, Xiaozhi is not that kind of person. No. It's nothing. Cynthia, you trust Xiaozhi more. After all, I always feel that this child will have a lot of connections with me in the future. Well, you don't want old cows to eat young grass, do you? Cynthia, can your perspective on things be more fresh and refined? When I said there was a connection in the future, of course I was talking about a battle. Why would you think of such a thing? After Xiaoyan failed in the first battle, he took back Nidorino and released the next Pokémon. Onyx. Onyx. Froakie come back. Xiaozhi took Froakie back and then waved his hand. It's up to you Pikachu. Pika, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. The strength of labor and management is obviously the most improved. But it has always been sluggish. Why? Today, my Pikachu will prove to be the god of thunder. Fight against ground types Onyx with electric type. Player Xiaozhi actually sent out the electric type Pikachu when facing the ground type's Big Rock. Does player Xiaozhi like to play reverse attribute? Xiaozhi's Pikachu must have been familiar to everyone recently. Let's see what results Pikachu can achieve against ground type Onyx. In the excited voice of the commentator, the two sides officially started the battle. Onyx, use Rock Tomb. Xiao Yan shouted excitedly. Before fighting Xiaozhi, he had been thinking about how to deal with Xiaozhi's Pikachu for a long time. And the only answer he got was, to block Pikachu's speed. As long as the Rock Tomb hits, it will weaken Pikachu's speed. Of course, the premise is that it hits the target. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Audience, what? Is there a problem with you or with me? Use Thunderbolt against ground-type Pokémon. This is no longer a question of whether the attribute is inverse or not, right? You are talking about the inverse immune attribute. Pikachu faithfully follows Xiaozhi's orders. A huge golden spark condensed on its body, and then flew out normally like lightning. The terrifying electric light turned into a thunder snake, which continued to refract in soaring in the sky, and the rock tomb that fell from the chest was all shattered. And it came to Onyx with overwhelming force, hitting Onyx directly. However, the golden spark had almost no effect when it hit Onyx. All electricity is directed into ground by Onyx. Why is Xiaozhi using Thunderbolt against Onyx? Misty was dumbfounded on the coaching bench. She originally thought Xiaozhi had changed a lot. The application of tactics is also different from before. However, what the hell happened this time? He took out his best Pikachu and actually used electric skills on Onyx. He wouldn't think that Thunderbolt would be effective on Onyx in the first rock gym. Is it because Pikachu has strong electricity? Misty was also present at the time, and it was purely because the water droplets soaked Onyx's body. Only Thunder Shock can take effect. ADFD. There is a ghost effect now. Xiaozhi doesn't know this, just look at his strategy. Xiaogang, a senior Onyx enthusiast, said calmly. He didn't think Xiaozhi would make such a stupid mistake now. What Xiaozhi did next told the world. He, Xiaozhi, is not only a master of reverse attribute. He can even show you the immune attribute. Pikachu, just control the lightning and make Onyx levitate. Pick up. In front of the Indigo Plateau Conference and even the entire Kanto region watching the game. Pikachu actually controlled the thunder and lightning to lift Onyx up. Wowsow. Wowsow. The sound of nest grass comes and goes. Even Lance couldn't help but curse. What kind of tactic is this? I've never seen him champion before. Denji, who was watching the live broadcast of the Indigo Plateau Conference, couldn't help but cursed. Can Thunderbolt still play like this? Onyx is controlled in the air by the golden spark. No matter how hard he struggles, there is no way to struggle away. And gradually, he felt that something was wrong. Thunderbolt, which was supposed to have no effect on him, felt starting to heat up for some reason. Pikachu, increase the power. Pikachu. The golden spark on Pikachu has increased in size again. The electric light on Onyx shines even brighter. Roar. Onyx let out a roar of pain, with a look of unbearable pain on his face. Advertisement. Its gray body seemed to be slowly starting to become charred. Thunderbolt. Did it work? Many viewers wiped their eyes and suspected that they had seen it wrong. Can Thunderbolt work on the ground system? Could it be that I memorized the wrong attribute counter? Alder. This is, if I read it correctly, it should be the marks caused by the fire. Alder looked at the charred body of Onyx and said firmly. Using the energy generated by Thunderbolt, does it generate heat energy in Onyx's body? That's why Onyx needs to be levitated, otherwise all the electricity will be transferred to. On the ground. Quote. Cynthia rubbed her chin and analyzed. I understand the principle, but, 2 questions. How does Onyx float? Why did Xiaozhi use such troublesome methods to defeat Onyx? She remembered that Pikachu seemed to have Iron Tail. If he could use Thunderbolt to cause this kind of damage to Onyx. This means that Pikachu's current level is far higher than that of Onyx. In this case, wouldn't Iron Tail be instant with just one move? Xiaozhi is still a child now. Lorelei said thoughtfully, and Cynthia reacted instantly. Yes, Xiaozhi is still a 10-year-old child now, even if he has become a little more mature due to Tiandao's inventory. But, the child's character still exists. Pikachu is now much stronger and has gained so many new skills. Of course Xiaozhi would want to try them all. That's why I didn't use Iron Tail to deal with the opponent at the beginning. As floating, related to the Zap Cannon skill that Pikachu got. The ability to control lightning makes Onyx levitate. All Cynthia can think of is electromagnetic buoyancy. Probably. I'll tell Xiaozhi about the details when the time comes. What he's doing right now, even as champion trainers can't understand. Lorelei said teasingly. Ahem, actually I have already guessed that electromagnetic levitation is used. I just wanted to test what method you Xiaozhi used. Thanks to Lance, who was still talking tough, for sending me the plane. Xiao Yan stood on the trainer's seat, and his eyes almost popped out. Electric-type moves work on ground-type moves. Is it because he doesn't have enough trainer knowledge yet? Isn't ground immune to electric skills? Onyx, come quickly. However, this sentence did not give Onyx any effect. Not everyone has Xiaozhi's rejuvenation roar. Within 10 seconds, Onyx was scorched by the powerful voltage. The electric light on Pikachu dissipated, and Onyx fell directly. His eyes turned in circles and he lost his ability to fight. Big. Onyx can't fight. Pikachu wins. The referee was also a little confused. Today's game seemed a bit beyond his common sense. Hey, Pikachu, good job. Pikapi. The boy and the electric mouse wiped their noses proudly. They came up with this last night. A powerful weapon against ground-type Pokémon. Of course, this move is actually of no use other than shocking ordinary people. How come the powerful ground Pokémon is controlled in the sky by your electromagnetic levitation? After all, Xiaozhi still wants to try new moves. The last one, come on Graveler. Xiaoyan took back Onyx and released the last Pokémon, Graveler. This is also the strongest Pokémon in his hand. At this time, he had no energy at all. After all, his own ground-type Pokémon was defeated by the electric type. Who can withstand it? Come back Pikachu. Pika. After a little show, you can go back and sell it for retirement. Today I am Pikachu just to tell you that I am already very good. Don't look at me being beaten by Lorelei, but I can actually beat you. The last one, it's up to you, Charizard. Roar. A red light flashed and Charizard appeared. Charizard, who appeared on the first day of the new year, looked up to the sky and roared, firing a brilliant red flame at soaring in the sky spit up. Then he looked sharply at Graveler. Graveler, who was clearly 4 times more powerful than Charizard, was stared at by his fierce eyes. I couldn't help but feel timid. Don't be afraid. A tribute is in our favor. Use Rock Slide. Rumble. Graveler forcibly suppressed the fear in his heart and yelled. Several rocks appeared around him, and as he waved his arms, Rock flew towards Charizard like an arrow from the bowstring. Charizard disdainfully spit up a fire. He turned around and swung the tail from behind directly onto the incoming Rock. Boom. With almost no effort, Rock was crushed by Charizard. Roar. That's 4 times the restraint. Charizard, Flamethrower. Roar. The crimson flame spit up from the dragon's mouth and rushes away. Chapter 76. The confrontation between ideal and reality. The power to destroy heaven and earth. Please subscribe. Advertisement. After effortlessly destroying Graveler's rock slide, Charizard spit red flames from his mouth, and at the moment when Graveler couldn't react, it was completely covered in flames. A few seconds later, a charred Graveler appeared in front of everyone. Then, he suddenly fell to the ground. One move, instant kill. This is the strength of Charizard now. After obtaining the Rainbow Wing, Charizard's foundation was not only being slowly repaired. Its own flames have also been fully strengthened. Although I haven't started exercising with Charizard Valley tips yet. But Charizard is definitely not a weakling now. It's natural for a Graveler of this level to be killed instantly. Xiaozhi's second battle is over. Although Xiaozhi sent out 3 Pokémon this time, the 3 Pokémon all defeated each other with overwhelming force. If there are 2, it's still a reverse attribute fight. It's no different from a string of 3. After winning, Xiaozhi waved to the surroundings proudly, exuding the passion of youth. Gary, who was in the audience, couldn't help but curl his lips when he saw it. If there is anything to be proud of, just be happy now. When you meet me, you will be defeated. After Gary muttered, he turned and left the audience. Leaving with him were 6 women who were cheerleaders and girlfriends. In fact, what he meant was, Xiaozhi would not lose before meeting him. The arrogant way of speaking is so awkward. After winning the game, Xiaozhi's Pokémon does not need to be restored. After all, no one was harmed. When nothing happened, the 3 of them went to Steven's temporary residence again. Today I still watch the game here with Steven. You can watch the game with the champions and listen to their live commentary on their fighting skills. For Xiaozhi, help is still very important. 430. Of course, although most of the time, many champions are just poisoning their milk. At nearly 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the Indigo Plateau Conference schedule also ended. Many champions then returned to Steven's temporary residence. Although their purpose is just to see Xiaozhi play. But since they are here, it would be rude to take as much as you can without looking at all the games. So they could only bear to finish reading the Quartz Baby Cup. After a whole day of competition, there are no more than 5 fingers that can be called good trainers. This is still counting Xiaozhi. You can imagine how tortured the champions must be to watch. In the original history, Xiaozhi was the first person to open the Indigo Plateau Conference. They thought that there were strong people gathered here, but it turned out that novices were pecking each other. Numb. I said, Lance, has your Kanto's level dropped to this? No wonder your Kanto is so weak. Steven said unceremoniously. Originally, he thought that the younger generation of Fangyuan was already very weak. It turned out that, compared with Kanto, it pales in comparison. Fangyuan is pretty good. Don't ask me, I don't know, I'm just a prosecutor, responsible for combating evil forces, and it's Charles Goodshow's job to cultivate the younger generation. Lance directly put the blame on Ma Lanchi, saying that I will not bear the blame. Everyone at the Indigo Plateau Conference isn't that bad, right? Xiaozhi couldn't help but interjected. After all, before he received the reward from Tiandao inventory, his level was only in the top 16 of the Indigo Plateau Conference. Although it was caused by Charizard abstaining. But we can't deny that his rival is powerful. That trainer seems to be named Richie. He even went to investigate the other party today. It looks similar to the Pokémon he is holding. If the level of the Indigo Plateau Conference is very poor, doesn't it mean that his level is also very poor? Well, if you don't count Charizard and Pikachu's explosions, Xiaozhi, your level is considered to be among the best among beginners. But, an alliance conference should not only be attended by beginners. Some people who have been traveling for several years, such as Professor Kukui, who you played against Xiaozhi before, will also attend the alliance conference. The players in the Indigo Plateau Conference are all quite weak, and some of them are quite old. But the Pokémon in their hands are still quite good. This is why we say that Guan Xingqing is not accepted. Cynthia analyzed the current situation in Kanto for Xiaozhi. It also made Xiaozhi understand why the champion said that Kanto was dead. Speaking of which, how come he seems to have heard of this older contestant somewhere? My father, Flint, he challenged Alliance for 20 years. It's a pity that he couldn't win the championship. For this reason, he left home for 20 years. It can be said that the original Indigo Plateau Conference was full of strong people. 20 years, without a crown. After Xiaozhi heard this, a chill surged into his heart from the soles of his feet. Why did his heart feel so cold after hearing these words? If he couldn't win a championship in 20 years, would he give up on his dream? Forget it, don't even think about such horrible things. Advertisement. Of course, the original Indigo Plateau Conference was so valuable. Ding. Just when Lance wanted to brag about the gold content of the Indigo Plateau Conference. In vain, a large screen appeared above the TV in the hall. This is already the 3rd day since the Tiandao inventory appeared. Everyone is used to this unexpected event. Now that this screen appears, it means, a new inventory is about to begin. The 7th heavenly inventory is about to begin. Inventory of those Pokémon that rival gods in their mortal bodies 5. Screens are popping up all over the world again. Everyone also took out the popcorn seeds they had prepared and entered the movie watching mode. Is it still a series about competing with the gods? Whose Pokémon will fight against the mythical beasts this time? Agatha guessed with interest. It's a rare mythical beast in the world. I didn't expect that the series now has 5. There are 6 mythical beasts that have appeared. Lorelei said with some emotion. Who would have thought that there would be such a powerful being in the world, and that he would be able to take stock of the battles between mythical beasts that will appear in the future? And it seems that there are other series of reviews. I'm really looking forward to it. It won't be Xiaozhi again this time, right? Quote. Can't you tell? During everyone's discussion, the image on the screen began to play. What appears at the beginning of the picture is not a familiar figure, but a majestic western white dragon. It's not just the white dragon. On its opposite side, there is a black dragon. Opelucid is located in an uninhabited desert. The appearance of the white dragon is like a combination of a white bird and a western dragon with huge wings and claws. His whole body is covered with normal soft white body hair. The face resembles a white wolf, and there are 2 metallic luster circles on the neck. The silver claws on the front feet are long and sharp, and they stand on the back. Like the neck, the base of the white dragon's tail is also surrounded by 2 metallic rings. Underneath the ring is a layer of something resembling the shape of an engine. The black dragon looks like a combination of a dinosaur and a strong bipedal western dragon. Most of its body is pewter color. He has 4 thick upper arms. One pair of arms is connected to outward spreading fan-like wings, and the other pair of arms is connected to powerful claws. Its tail is a huge cone with spikes. The appearance of the entire tail is reminiscent of a generator or an airplane's jet engine. Open black lens bracket Alder. The real dragon Leshiram. The ideal dragon Zekrom. Close black lens bracket. There is an unconcealable shock in Alder's words. You know, these 2 Pokémon are Unova's legendary Pokémon. And in terms of strength, it is even more powerful than the 2nd-level divine beast with the priesthood. They are 1st-level divine beasts with divine responsibilities. Catalya. Are they the representative mythical beasts of our Unova region this time? But, these 2 mythical beasts are 1st-level gods with divine responsibilities. What kind of Pokémon can fight against such level of mythical beasts? Catalya couldn't think of it at all. Just the scene where Pikachu fought against the island god with the priesthood was already devastating. What we have to fight now is a level 1 mythical beast. It's completely unimaginable that normal Pokémon can fight against a level 1 mythical beast. Professor Oak. Oh, is it the mythical beast of the Unova region this time? Alder Champion, can you introduce it in detail? Close black lens bracket. Alder. Zekrom and Leshiram are the representative beasts of our Unova region. In addition to them, there is also a dragon god known as the strongest dragon, named Kyurem. Zekrom and Leshiram are both divine beasts that split from Kyurem. It is said that when the 3 become one, only then will the power of the strongest dragon truly reappear. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Reshiram is the divine beast of dragon type and fire type. In mythology, he once used fire to burn the world, and he will help those who build the real world. In the mythical narrative, if humans despise reality and indulge in desires, it will use fire to incinerate their kingdom. When Reshiram releases his exclusive move, his tail will release explosive hot flames. It's called overclocking mode. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Zekrom is the mythical beast of electric type and dragon type. He believes in ideals and is willing to help those who have the consciousness to pursue their ideals. But if you abandon your ideals and become ungrateful, Zekrom will ruthlessly destroy everything with thunder and lightning. When bursting with power or using fusion bolt or bolt strike, its engine-like tail rotates, emitting a cyan blue light and generating powerful power. This contest condition that releases powerful electricity is the same as Leshiram, and is called overclocking drive mode. Close black lens bracket. Stephen. In other words, the level of these 2 divine beasts is just like the 2 gods of our Hoenn region, Groudon and Kyogre, right? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. And our Palkia and Dialga from Sinnoh. Close black lens bracket. Stephen and Cynthia are both people who have done a lot of research on the history of their region. After listening to Alder's description, the 2 of them instantly thought of the powerful gods in their region. There are also levels of hierarchy among gods, and gods such as Palkia and Groudon. Undoubtedly the most top-notch existence among the mythical beasts. Moltres is top-notch, even if I have to carry shoes for them. Not even if you have a priesthood. If Alola's island god uses the exclusive Z move, he might even be able to touch porcelain. Thanks to Alder's popular science, everyone also understood the horror of the Opelucid god. So, are these 2 dragons the protagonists today? Are they going to fight Opelucid at the same time? Oh my god, what kind of Pokémon can fight 2 level 1 gods at the same time? Are you kidding me? When everyone is shocked by Opelucid's identity, ideals and reality have begun to collide. Leshiram raised his head, and terrifying flame energy filled his mouth. Advertisement. Come out from the front. The scorching flame turned into a burning fireball, and the fireball was surrounded by crisscrossing flames. At the same time, the tail of Leshiram also burst into orange-red flames. Like a flame thruster normal. Leshiram's exclusive skill, Fusion Flare. Lay. With a cry, a huge fireball shot out. The fireball turned into a terrifying pillar of fire the moment it was ejected. The surrounding air seemed to be burned out. Layers of scorching sun burst into the air. Not to be outdone, Zekrom bursts out with blue electricity. The electric rays meet in the void. Let the surroundings disappear. The terrifying electric light made the air seem to be flashing with thunder and lightning. The propeller behind it lights up blue like a tail glow insect. Then it crashed into the pillar of fire at lightning speed. Boom. It's like the world has just opened to normal. The screen instantly shrinks 10 times. At the moment when the two divine dragons collided, the mountains, the earth, and the sky seemed to have been dealt a devastating blow. Normal. Everything was destroyed in these two attacks. The scene ends here. Compared with the previous summary, this summary is undoubtedly shorter. However, in this short scene, people can see clearly the power of God. Wowsow. Is this the power of the two gods of Unova? This power is no weaker than the collision of Pikachu and Tapu. That's right. And Pikachu and Tapu still rely on the power of Z moves to deliver the terrifying blow. On the other hand, Unova Opalucid, their moves seem to be sparse and mediocre. It's a common move. Don't be embarrassed. This should be the exclusive move of the mythical beast, right? People all over the world are having an O************. The power of gods is so terrifying. They really can't imagine that, except for divine beasts of the same level. What other Pokémon can compete with such a powerful beast? Unova region, Team Plasma's headquarters. Jetsis, the leader of Team Plasma with blue hair and only one eye exposed, looked at the screen with an excited expression. This is it. This is the power they are pursuing. Leshiram, Zekrom, these two beasts will be his possessions. Akroma's eyes also showed excitement. He is the second in command of Team Plasma and a scientist in Team Plasma. Team Plasma's advanced machines were all manufactured by him. He recently had the idea of building a machine that could control mythical beasts. Now looking at the power of Opalucid in black and white in the picture. This made him even more determined in his inner thoughts. If you can rely on machines to use these two mythical beasts for your own use, what will it be like? I'm afraid the whole world will be under the rule of their Team Plasma 1.6. The first and second leaders of Team Plasma are in the process of admiration. Your Unova region's Opalucid is not bad at all. Quote. Lance's voice was slightly trembling. Forgive him for not having seen much of the world, mainly because Ho-Oh and Lugia in Chengdu are rare to see in 100 years. Almost no one has ever seen them take action. Naturally, Lance has never seen a confrontation between first-level gods. Now it seems. I'm afraid he has 6 Pokémon coming out at once. You may not be able to defeat one of the dragons. Dandy rubbed his chin and said thoughtfully. If it's just one of the divine dragons, my Charizard should be able to handle it when it becomes Gigantamax. Champions. What the hell? Can your Charizard fight this kind of thing? How come we don't know? If the fire dragon is so powerful, why would it fight you? Alchemy Emperor Charizard's full power has never been displayed in front of everyone. Therefore, they do not have a thorough understanding of Charizard's power. But everyone is a champion, so even if there is a difference in strength, it's not that big of a difference, right? At least Cynthia, who was ranked second, faced any Unova Opalucid. She felt that she didn't have the strength to fight back at all. If you can survive 5 minutes, you will be considered a success. Is Dan Emperor that much stronger than them? Isn't this possible? When the 8 Masters competition starts in a few days, we'll find out. In the image, the brief synopsis ends and a new picture begins to play. As soon as the picture appeared, many people exclaimed. Because, that familiar figure appears again. Red and white hat, blue and white jacket, the resident object of inventory, Xiaozhi from Pallet Town. However, this time Xiaozhi was not standing on the stadium. Instead, he was in ruins. And, he is running away in a very embarrassing way. Chapter 77. The Fifth Divine Battle. The Fiery Dragon King versus the Real Dragon. Please subscribe. Advertisement. In the image, except for Xiaozhi who is running away in embarrassment. There were 3 other figures running with him. One is Black Stephanie with long hair, and the other 2 are men with green hair. One of them is wearing a bartender's costume, and the other is wearing a white hat. Unova region, Striaton City, Striaton Gym. Sillin looked at the figure on the screen in a daze. Even though he's a bit disgraced, isn't that who he is? It turns out that he will also go on a trip with Xiaozhi in the future. It tastes good. Dragon Country. At this time, Alice is set to be temporarily in Dragon Country, because she seems to have gone on a trip shortly after going to Opalucid Academy. One has purple hair and 2 huge twin tails. The dark-skinned girl with a bow on her collar was also looking at the screen in a daze. Her name is Alice, and she is Stephanie who grew up in Dragon Country. She is very longing for the outside world. It was just that her mother-in-law told her that she needed to attend Opalucid Academy. Only then can we explore the outside world. So Alice is currently just a little Stephanie who longs for the outside world. Now she sees herself on the screen. Although that self has grown up a lot. But, who would admit that he was wrong? So in the future, will she also go out on adventures with Xiaozhi? That's really great. After all, that is Xiaozhi. A young man who is full of exploration. Somewhere in Unova, N looked at himself running away in a daze. Why? Even he joined Xiaozhi's team. Before the coming of Heaven's inventory, he was not actually very friendly towards humans. There is always a look on his face that says he should not let strangers in. But when it comes to Pokémon, he always opens his heart and treats them kindly. Because he can hear Pokémon's thoughts. Because of this, he is not interested in Pokémon battles or battles at all. There are even some who hate those who let Pokémon battle. When he was a child, he was bewitched by Jetsis. Now that he has escaped, he is fighting Team Plasma while looking for a way to successfully free the Pokémon. Even though Jetsis deceived him. But Jetsis was right about one thing. Pokémon tamed by humans are not free and suffer. He wants to free them. But this view has been shaken a lot after Tiandao took stock. This is all because of the protagonist in the inventory, Xiaozhi. After 2 days of inventory, Xiaozhi clearly showed him what the bond between people and Pokémon is. This also made him a little more suspicious of the relationship between people and Pokémon. Could it be that is the best choice for humans and Pokémon to be together? Then today, he saw himself in the inventory of heaven. The person in the picture should be following the original history. In other words, it is quite hostile to humans. However, even in this situation, he still walked with Xiaozhi. That means, Xiaozhi's characteristics may have infected him. Xiaozhi, let me take a good look at your magic. Under the gaze of everyone in the world, Xiaozhi and his group kept running. Behind them are a group of Pokémon with blood-red eyes. There are various types of Pokémon: Leopard, Kinkelder, Timber, Beardic. But, why are these Pokémon chasing Xiaozhi and attacking? And isn't this a battle to take stock of mortal bodies that rival gods? Where are the gods? Isn't this a wild place? Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Familiar shout, familiar Thunderbolt. Pikachu suddenly splashed from Xiaozhi's feet. The golden spark blocked the pursuit of those behind him. Now Xiaozhi's goal is just to prevent Akroma from emitting mysterious radio waves. These controlled Pokémon are all innocent. If given the choice. Of course Xiaozhi doesn't want to hurt them. Hey, brother, Xiaozhi's outfit, this seems to be the outfit he lost to the newbie Snivy, right? It seems to be true. Isn't Pikachu still going to be the best actor? No. That's not the case, is it? Look at this Thunderbolt, it's not weak. It should be out of its weak stage, right? Whatever, as long as it's Pikachu versus the Divine Beast this time, I'll choose the Dragon of Unova. After the last game, many people swore that no matter what, they would definitely bet on Xiaozhi to win the next game. But after seeing the power of Unova Opalucid, they hesitated. That terrifying power doesn't look like something ordinary Pokémon can contend with. And this Pikachu is not a complete Pikachu. How can you believe this? Advertisement. In the image, after Pikachu blocked the escape route of the red-eyed Pokémon, he then ran with Xiaozhi. At this time, the huge dual wingbeat covers soaring in the sky. The shadow of terror falls on Xiaozhi and others. The 4 of them looked back and saw a huge creature appearing on soaring in the sky not far from them. This Pokémon has a white fur head and a huge dual wingbeat, which looks like a big bird. Everyone watching around the world instantly recognized this huge flying bird. No, it should be called a flying dragon. The Dragon of Truth. Reshiram. The screen stopped for a moment, and then the familiar pop-up window appeared. Inventory of those Pokémon that used their mortal bodies to fight against gods 5. Open black lens bracket battlefield. Unova region Dragon Spiral Tower White Ruins, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket battle object. Xiaozhi Charizard vs Jetsis Reshiram, close black lens bracket. Viewers, please start placing your bets. The time limit is 5 minutes. Close black lens bracket. The whole world is like the silence of normal death. The reason for such silence is not only because Xiaozhi's Charizard faced the mythical beast again. And because this mythical beast is a first-level mythical beast that holds the priesthood. What's more important is, this super beast has just shown the power to almost destroy the world. He was actually subdued by others. Who is this person named Jetsis? Alder. That guy Jetsis actually conquered Reshiram. How is this possible? How can Reshiram admit someone like Jetsis? Close black lens bracket. There is no way Jetsis can conquer Reshiram. Some special method must have been used. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Huh. What a special name. Who are you? Do you also know Jetsis? Close black lens bracket. Jetsis is my adoptive father and the leader of Team Plasma. Open black lens bracket Yoryudu, Team Plasma. Is it the same organization as Kanto Rockets? Close black lens bracket. I don't know much about Team Rocket, but if Mr. Lance is talking about an evil organization, then their nature is the same. Close black lens bracket. Alder was lost in thought. That sinful Jetsis actually had an adopted son. I have never played Black and White, I only know that Alder lost the final battle with N, and there is too little description of Alder in the animation. Here I combine both sides to describe Alder. With that guy's cold-blooded personality, how could he adopt someone else? Alder, what's wrong? It was only when Lance shouted loudly that Alder suddenly came over from his meditation. I said, who is that Jetsis? People all over the world are waiting for your answer. Oh, I'm going to explain it now. Also, regarding the person named N, if possible, I would like to ask Alliance to investigate. Piece of cake. As he spoke, investigator Lance started making phone calls. As an investigator, I naturally have companions in other regions. Call the Unova region investigator and see if there is any information on the person named N. Alder. Jetsis is the leader of our evil organization Team Plasma. This identity was suddenly revealed a few years ago. Before that, Jetsis was a well-known peace ambassador in our Unova region. Close black lens bracket. And ambassador of peace. Everyone in the world is confused. The leader of an evil organization, an adopter, and an ambassador of peace. Is the leader of this evil organization doing charity? Alder. When Jetsis becomes the so-called ambassador of peace, it is not because of his kindness. It is because he is profitable. Alder. At the beginning, Jetsis was still giving speeches at Akumula town. Humans should not restrain creatures like Pokémon because of selfish desires. If you want a more peaceful future, you should release the restraints on Pokémon. Let them return to nature. In fact, his real purpose is to make him the only one in the world who can hold Pokémon. In this case, those humans who do not have Pokémon can be at his mercy. This will achieve the goal of ruling the world. This is the leader of Team Plasma, Jetsis. A man who is extremely evil. I neither agree nor disagree with his original point of view. Whether it is free or not should be decided by Pokémon. But after someone revealed his true nature later, he disappeared from the public's sight. I don't know what conspiracy he was planning. Now it seems, he has been planning the mythical beast. Close black lens bracket. After Alder finished his popular science, everyone in the world felt a chill. In the name of Pokémon, I want people to give up Pokémon. In this way, only you can have Pokémon in the world and rule the world. This idea is a bit whimsical no matter how you think about it. Who would give up their Pokémon just because of a few words from you? But, if someone is really persuaded to separate from their Pokémon, it would be very painful just thinking about it. I thought it was for the good of Pokémon, but it turned out that this was just a conspiracy by others. How could there be such evil people in the world? Hoenn Region Lava, Water Fleet. How stupid. You actually want to rule the world in this way. The only way to truly rule the world is to obtain Kyogre Groudon. At that time, the world will become an ocean land. At that time, the world will be dominated by our water ships, Lava Team. The two leaders of the Hoenn region's villain organization, Archie and Maxie, have surprisingly good ideas. They sneered at the idea of undermining others. Advertisement. What's the use of weakening others? Strengthening yourself is the way to go. Not just them, basically most of the region's villain organizations have this idea. Jetsis's kind of thinking is quite rare in the entire villain world. Unova region, Team Plasma headquarters. Boom. Jetsis slapped the table in front of him hard. Now he is gritting his teeth and looking at the barrage list. In fact, he can also speak on it, but, Alder said. All are correct. He couldn't refute it. This old guy Alder, how dares to expose me. When I get Reshiram in the future, I will kill him as soon as possible. Speaking of this, Jetsis couldn't help but smile. Look at this picture. In the future we should have created the machine that controls the mythical beast. Sure enough, even Reshiram can't escape the ultimate black technology of our Team Plasma. No matter what kind of divine beast, what kind of priest or even 10th level god, they all have to bow before us. At the feet of the class. Ha ha ha. The more Jetsis thought about it, the more excited he became. The power to destroy the world could actually be in his hands. Regarding the idea of developing a machine to control mythical beasts, he was actually not sure whether it would succeed. Now it seems, not even Reshiram can escape his control. In this case, wouldn't the other second-level gods be more easily captured? Haha, my talent is indeed unmatched by anyone. Akroma held his eyes, the excitement in his eyes was almost overflowing. He is undoubtedly more interested in his top inventions than ruling the world. Being able to create a machine that controls the divine beast that destroys the world. What does this mean? It shows that his talent is the talent of God. The talent of God. It is unattainable. Ouchiwakami. Yanyi.jpg. Charizard. What a rotten fish. It's so difficult to fight Articuno without a priest. You still want to fight against Reshiram. Just dream. Regarding what was said in the inventory, Charizard versus Reshiram, Jetsis was very disdainful. Yes, Charizard had indeed fought against the divine beast, but how could that Articuno be able to compete with Reshiram? There is a difference of 153 between the two sides. Norman, okay. And Reshiram is a fire plus dragon type, 4 times more resistant to fire. What does your Charizard do? It's so hard to fight against the restrained Articuno, but you want to fight against Reshiram. It's hilarious. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. I want to support Xiaozhi this time. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Diantha. Oh. Lance, do you like Xiaozhi? Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. No, I am optimistic about Reshiram. Charizard and Reshiram are not on the same level at all. But, I don't want to bet on Jetsis to win. He doesn't deserve it. 1. Diantha. With Lance's words, I feel relieved, Xiaozhi. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Soha Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu, close black lens bracket. You guys are outrageous. Are you really taking my words as poisonous milk? Everything I analyzed is sound and well-founded. Just kidding, do you really take my poisonous milk seriously? Wallace. I have a question. Lance is now betting on Xiaozhi and is optimistic about Reshiram. So, who is this really talking about? Close black lens bracket. Drake. It should be considered a poisonous thought. Having said that, if it weren't for Jetsis on Reshiram's side, I really want to beat Reshiram to win. That belongs to me, an old man. Dream. Close black lens bracket. Drake. The Dragon-type elite among Fangyuan Elite 4. I have a soft spot for Dragon-type Pokémon. Not to mention the divine beast among the dragons, Guhiram. Unfortunately, the owner of this mythical beast turned out to be a notorious villain. Then it is definitely impossible for Drake to bet on him. If nothing else, I can't get over this hurdle in my heart. Drasna. Haha, I also like Reshiram very much, it's a pity that it fell into the wrong hands. I think, how can a kind dragon with truth as its concept? You wouldn't fall in love with someone like Jetsis, right? Close black lens bracket. Drasna, one of the Elite Four in the Kalos region, is also an elite specializing in dragons. In the previous episode, he was also fascinated by the pure white dragon of truth. But now, that beautiful white dragon has chosen such a person as his trainer. This undoubtedly disappointed her. Could it be that the legendary Pokémon chooses a trainer regardless of their character? This is a bit inconsistent with the legend. Day. Alas, the dragon of the destruction system. Why did he fall into the Jetsis certificate? Close black lens bracket. Jetsis. Bear with me. Bear with me. When the inventory begins, labor and management will definitely slap you in the face. Jetsis resisted the urge to speak. Although the elite champions who spoke on the barrage could not find his location. But speaking out now will have no effect except being attacked by the group. They can only wait for the official start of the inventory, and their faces are swollen. After a few minutes, everyone's bets ended. 60%, 40%, Jetsis, Xiaozhi. In a battle with such a huge disparity in strength, 40% of the people supported Xiaozhi. Except because they don't want to bet on the bad guys winning. And because they believe in Lance's poisonous milk. As for the tie, who can win the tie with the serious person? Steven. Lance, can you win this one? Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Chapter 78. The Returned Dragon King. Confront Reshiram. Advertisement. 40% of the people in the world support Xiaozhi, 60% support Jetsis. After all, there are still quite a lot of people in the world who only care about winning and losing but not about good and evil. The strength gap this time is much worse than before. Facing the dragon that can destroy the world, how can Charizard fight against it? Not to mention that this time the opponent is 4 times more resistant to fire. However, the odds are 1-to-1. Both sides. Someone put in a bunch of points to increase the odds. I won't say who it is. Serena. Let's go for 100 million this time. Leave some to give Xiaozhi a meeting gift. It seems there are some nice clothes to buy. Lance found 300 points, Cynthia got 50,000 points, Alder and Alder got 100,000 points. Xiaozhi, Misty and Xiaogang all 3 bet 500,000 points. The Rockets trio bet a total of 400,000. This is all their belongings. The remaining 400,000 points. In addition to buying robots, they also spent a lot of money on Pokémon food. There are also some equipment for training Pokémon. Needless to say, the trio of Team Rocket take great care of their Pokémon. Points that are very precious in the eyes of outsiders. For them, it doesn't hurt to use it on their own Pokémon. This is why they don't look like villains. These people basically put all their points on Xiaozhi every time. I don't know what Xiaozhi would think if he found out. I should say, isn't Team Rocket worthy of being so dedicated to his Pikachu? Gary is still drinking tea at the same place. Faced with such a disparity in strength, he still chose Xiaozhi to win. With 200,000 points in his hand, he bet 100,000 on Xiaozhi. Anyway, there is nothing he needs to buy now. Believe Xiaozhi.jpg. After everyone's bets are over, the video officially begins. The white dragon that covers the sky is now opening its dual wingbeat, with a blue flame in its mouth. The tail behind Reshiram bursts into scorching red flames. At the same time, the blue flame in the mouth turned into a blue fireball, and then exploded into a pillar of fire. The blue fire pillar is also surrounded by streamlined flames. The surrounding space was burned and distorted by this terrifying temperature. Alder. If I read correctly, this should be Reshiram's exclusive move, Blue Flare. Close black lens bracket. Alder. In terms of power, it is only stronger than the fusion flare in the synopsis just now. Although it seems that the power is not that terrifying now. But this is an attack from a level 1 divine beast. This terrifying exclusive attack targets Xiaozhi and others. What will Xiaozhi and others do next? Many viewers exclaimed loudly, and some even covered their eyes and did not dare to watch. If this flame hits Xiaozhi directly, I'm afraid no matter how powerful Xiaozhi's physique is, it must be a dead end. And Xiaozhi only has one Pikachu now. Can Pikachu's Thunderbolt really block the attack of the Cyan Flame? Boom. Just when the violent blue flare was about to hit Xiaozhi and others, a powerful crimson flame came. It actually cancelled out Reshiram's exclusive move Blue Flare. Black smoke filled the entire venue, and when the smoke dissipated, a handsome red fire dragon appeared in front of everyone. Xiaozhi also suddenly raised his head, with a burning light shining in his eyes. Charizard, you're here. Roar. The person coming is none other than Xiaozhi's Charizard. The Charizard that appeared this time not only made some progress in the power of flames. His body is even bigger than when he fought against Articuno. Is this a step up in strength? Very good. It's up to you, Charizard. It's up to us to stop Reshiram here. Xiaozhi, that's the legendary white dragon. Even if Charizard is strong, it's still too weak. Alice dissuaded from the side. That is one of the strongest mythical beasts in the Unova region. How could Xiaozhi's Charizard win? Even if I try to stop it, I'm afraid I can't stop it. Yes, Xiaozhi, let's focus on destroying the machine created by Acroma. As long as that machine is destroyed, Reshiram can return to normal. After Silen's narration, everyone realized that something seemed wrong with Reshiram's expression. Its expression looked very irritable, and its eyes were the same as the previous Pokémon that chased Xiaozhi, which were blood red. So, it's not that Jetsis conquered Reshiram. But the man named Acroma used the instrument to control Reshiram. And the control is still with Jetsis. That's why Reshiram is considered Jetsis Pokémon. Yulongdu. An instrument that can control divine beasts. The technology of this evil organization is no worse than Team Rocket. Steven. Even a first-level god with a priesthood can control it. That scientist named Acroma is too terrifying. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Acromar, the second in command in Team Plasma. He is a famous evil scientist. But I didn't expect. He has actually developed a machine that can control mythical beasts. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Team Rocket Headquarters. Lord Giovanni. Should we ADFH go to snatch Team Plasma's technology? Archer seemed a little excited at this time, a machine that controls the mythical beast. If they were in the hands of the Rockets, dominating the world would not be a simple matter. Idiots, if they had developed a machine that could control the beasts now, they would have openly come out to confront Alliance. If they haven't come out yet, it means they haven't developed that machine yet. That picture on the screen is the future. Rather than snatching other people's machines, it's better to think about how to improve your own technology. If they can develop it, can't our Rockets develop it? After Giovanni reprimanded his subordinates, his mind was full of thoughts. Even he didn't expect that human technology could advance to such an extent. Even the most powerful beast in the world can be controlled. If Team Plasma can do it, there's no reason why Team Rocket can't do it. Influence. Xiaozhi rejected everyone's suggestions. With Reshiram here, you can't get close to that machine. Now only Charizard and I can stop him and have a chance to destroy the machine. As for Charizard's strength, didn't you see that Reshiram's attack just now was blocked by him? My Charizard is now the strongest dragon in the Charizard Valley. He is the best in the world. Along with Xiaozhi's words, Charizard also looked up to the sky and roared. Terrifying flames sprayed high into the sky from its mouth, and the clouds soaring in the sky were directly shaken away. All of this shows that Charizard now has power comparable to the legend. BW said that Charizard has returned from practicing in Charizard Valley. Since his practice is over, Charizard's strength is at least the king level in Charizard Valley. Otherwise, why would his practice end? Dandy. As this Charizard who returned from practicing in the Charizard Valley. It feels like the current Charizard can already touch my Charizard. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Indeed, that flamethrower is completely different from before. It even blocked Reshiram's exclusive skill, Blue Flare. Today's Charizard is definitely the top existence in the world. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. You know, this is Charizard who has not yet restored his foundation. He has reached this stage with his strong will. I can't imagine how terrifying Charizard will be after he has restored his foundation. Close black lens bracket. Alder. This is the miracle created by the bond between Chitaro and Pokémon. Close black lens bracket. That year, Charizard stood at the gate of Charizard Valley, standing like a slave. But now, that weak Charmander, who was like a normal minion, has grown into a powerful Dragon King who can defeat the top mythical beasts. Come out, everyone. Xiaozhi released all the Pokémon he had with him. Charizard, Froakie, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Pidgeotto. He wanted to show these friends Charizard's powerful area. No matter whether you win or lose this battle, facing the top legend will definitely leave your mark in history. Roar. Charizard saw himself on the screen and became excited. Today is his home court again. He also wants to know his future if he does not recover from his flaws. How strong can you become? Kino. This was the first time Froakie saw Tiandao inventory, and his big yellow eyes were full of curiosity. In the image, everyone also felt that what Xiaozhi said made sense. If Reshiram blocks it, it can be said to be extremely difficult for them to get close to Akroma's machine. Alice took a deep look at Charizard, then turned around and said, "Everyone, let's go. Xiaozhi's Charizard is a powerful Pokémon that can defeat my Dragonite. Trust them. ... Let's go, everyone, I can feel that Charizard is full of fighting spirit, now leave this place to Xiaozhi and the others." N is right. Xiaozhi, you should be more careful. After Silan finished speaking, he started running with Alice and N. Xiaozhi is now fighting him head-on. They must find a way to release Reshiram's control. In Silan's shouts, everyone also knew that the green-haired boy with the white hat. It's N who was speaking on the barrage just now. Yo! Reshiram let out a loud shout, and a purple energy condensed on his mouth. This is Dragon Pulse. Charizard, we use Flamethrower. Charizard also knows the Dragon Pulse skill, but how can it compete with Reshiram who has Dragon type? Do you have a problem or do I have a problem? Roar. Charizard opened his mouth, and blazing flames spurted out. At the same time, the purple wave on Reshiram's side was also launched. The two energies collided together and an astonishing explosion occurred. For a moment, sand and rocks were flying, and dust was everywhere. The already dilapidated buildings around him became even more torn apart. Even Alice and others who had run away were staggered by the violent waves. Two legendary Solaceans' attacks were so terrifying. The perspective shifted to a high platform in the distance. A man with only one eye exposed and hair like a trident appeared in everyone's sight. This person was wearing a black cloak and holding something like a scepter in his hand. Open black lens bracket Alder. It's Jetsis, close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Alder. I immediately recognized this person who was causing trouble in the Unova region. In the picture, Jetsis is holding a scepter in his hand and shouting, "Reshiram, use Fusion Flare." As Jetsis shouted, the scepter in his hand also glowed brightly. Reshiram's eyes are red and generous, and his tail spit up as a scorching flame. The whole body is also covered with streamlined flame lines. The terrifying energy slowly condenses in the mouth. Charizard is coming, use Blast Burn. Roar. Charizard's body also glowed red. The violent fire element condenses around it. The blazing flames slowly increase the surrounding temperature. Faced with Reshiram's exclusive skill, Xiaozhi didn't give in at all and directly let Charizard use Blast Burn Hard Steel. Blast Burn, a powerful skill that only Usangia can learn. Although it will freeze for a round, this is undoubtedly the strongest fire skill that can be learned under normal circumstances. A huge fireball condensed in front of Reshiram. There are crisscrossing flames flowing slowly on the fireball. The power of this fireball is no less powerful than the Z-move used by Professor Kukui's Incineroar. This is the horror of the top mythical beast. Each move can be compared to the power of Z-move. Bah! Roar. As Reshiram roared, huge fireballs blasted out. It turned into a huge pillar of fire. And Charizard did not give in at all the energy in his body was concentrated. Blast Burn spurts out. Two huge flames collided together. The fire burns the sky and sets a prairie fire for thousands of miles. For a moment, everything around him was blown away by this terrifying shock wave. Xiaozhi and Pikachu are the people closest to the battlefield. They were the first to face the aftermath of the explosion. In the howling wind, Xiaozhi remained motionless, just lowering his hat. Pikachu, on the other hand, pulled ground with some difficulty. The audience who saw this scene almost laughed out loud even in this tense atmosphere. Who is the Pokémon anyway? How come you, a human, are more stable than Pikachu, who has elite strength? Even Jetsis in the distance and the master who was avoiding the pursuit of Pokémon were almost knocked off their feet by the aftermath of the explosion. The damage to the surrounding buildings has increased to another level. The ground has also begun to shatter layer by layer. Soaring in the sky, it's cloudless. The flames soaring into the sky have dispersed all the clouds. The aftermath of the explosion slowly subsided, and Charizard was unharmed, still looking at Reshiram with sharp eyes. On the contrary, Reshiram's pure white fur actually had traces of burnt black. Although there is only one point, it still cannot be hidden from the eyes of so many viewers around the world. In the Battle of Flames, Reshiram actually lost to Charizard. Even his body was burned a little by Charizard's flames. What a joke. This is a legendary Pokémon with 4 times the fire resistance. How could Reshiram? Alder. Reshiram has a problem. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Yes, the power he is showing now is less than 1/3 of what he showed when he fought Zekrom in the storyline. Yulongdu. Nowadays, Reshiram's power can reach the level of a second-level god with a priesthood. It's not bad. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Despite this, Xiaozhi's Charizard is still very strong. Being able to fight against Reshiram like this means that today's Charizard is no better than Arrow's back then. How much worse is Pikachu's perfect body? The Reshiram in the video now is indeed very strong. Every move shows the domineering power of the mythical beast. But the champion still saw that Reshiram did not exert its full strength at all. If Reshiram sends out the power when fighting Zekrom, I'm afraid the current Charizard simply can't sustain a few moves. This is the horror of a first-level god. Normal Pokémon are absolutely unreachable. What causes Lim's weakness? Alder. I think Reshiram must be trying his best to fight against the machine that controls him. This also means that the machine cannot use Reshiram's power at all. Swing it out. Wallace. Haha, let me just say, how can the power of super beasts be controlled by humans using technology? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Is there a possibility that it is Lance's fault? Jetsis felt a mysterious power coming to him. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. I'm warning you, stop it. How is this possible? Lance was silent, and even he began to doubt himself. Could he really have the power of poisonous milk? Can this power even affect mythical beasts? No, no, no. Yulongdu, I'm born to control the power of dragons. What the hell is poisonous milk? Chapter 79. Watch out, I will only perform once. Dragon Seismic Toss. Advertisement. Unova region. Jetsis looked at the barrage and fell silent. After a long time, he said to a chroma next to him. The Reshiram on the screen does not show its full power. This shows that our machine still has flaws, and we will improve it in due course. Also, if you have the chance, kill Yulongdu at all costs. This man is too terrifying. We cannot leave him in the world. Lance's poisonous milk frightened Jetsis. Once can be said to be accidental, twice is a coincidence, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Obviously Lance's analysis is very accurate. Normally, things will definitely develop in the direction he analyzed. However, every time things develop, they are exactly opposite to what Lance analyzed. It's really hard not to wonder, has Lance's mouth been opened? Even now, Charizard, a Pokémon that is barely considered a treasure. A battle without any suspense against Reshiram, one of the strongest mythical beasts in the world. Everything became confusing under Lance's poisonous milk. Even if Reshiram becomes weaker. But what does this have to do with you, a Charizard with a broken foundation? Just because of become weaker doesn't mean you've become stronger. As a result, he really became stronger. Charizard, who has a broken foundation, has become comparable to a second-level god. Can you believe this? How could someone who hadn't suffered from cerebral congestion for 10 years imagine such a result? So Lance can't keep him. What if he subconsciously thinks of Team Plasma as extremely powerful? Then I'm afraid Team Plasma will begin to weaken inexplicably due to various reasons. This is his causal weapon. Received Lord Jetsis. I am ordering everyone on Team Plasma to place a reward on the Chengdu Region Champion, Kanto Region Elite 4, Yulongdu. You'd better stop pronouncing these titles, your head hurts. Originally, I just went straight to the wanted list. If you add this series of prefixes, how many people in Team Plasma dare to touch Yulongdu's brow? This matter needs to be considered in the long run. As this, the bond between Xiaozhi and Pokémon. It can actually produce power that can compete with Reshiram. N actually has an inner shadow about Reshiram. 03 When he was young, Jetsis used him to summon Reshiram. But Reshiram discovered Jetsis' evil intentions. And discovered that he was being used. Therefore, Reshiram did not listen to Jetsis at all. Just like the saying in myths and legends normal. If humans despise reality and indulge in lust, it will incinerate their kingdom with fire. Therefore, the Team Plasma headquarters at that time was completely burned by the flames of Reshiram. Because of this, N discovered that Jetsis had deceived him and escaped from Team Plasma. Nowadays, there are ordinary Pokémon that can fight against Solacean, who destroyed Team Plasma's Reshiram with one hit. This was a huge shock to him. Because of this, he became even more curious about the bond between Xiaozhi and Pokémon. What kind of power is that? Alchemy Emperor's Charizard can harden the infinite steel. Even if it is not in its heyday, it is at least one level weaker than a god. If it can Gigantamax, it will be at least a level 1 god. The Charizard here just came back from the Charizard Valley, and is set to be a second-level god who can harden steel. It is weaker than the Charizard of Dan Emperor, so Reshiram with full contest condition cannot beat the current Charizard. If it is weakened, then there is no problem. Charizard, you have become so powerful. Roar. The top legend who can harden steel even has an advantage. Charizard is proud of it. Just when Charizard was excitedly preparing to spit out fire, Teacher Dappy patted him with his tail, waking him up instantly. This ceiling is just fixed every day, don't do it again. At this time, Froakie standing aside had little stars twinkling in his big yellow eyes. It was the first time since he was born that he had seen such a shocking scene. It turns out that his trainer, and is the big guy next to him so powerful. It's decided. The person he will chase from now on is Charizard. His goal is to become a Pokémon as powerful as Charizard. Teacher, a big frog who has not yet grown up, has quietly set a goal. Gary, calm down, that Charizard isn't that powerful yet. You can defeat him. Gary at this time Alexander. After all, Xiaozhi is his fierce rival. If nothing else happens, the Indigo Plateau Conference will definitely face him. Facing such a powerful Charizard, even Gary felt the pressure doubled. The good news is that Charizard is not that powerful now. The bad news is, Charizard in the future will be even more powerful than he is now. This is Charizard with Rainbow Wing. If you want to defeat Xiaozhi, you have to do it now. Even if he is as confident as Gary, he has no confidence in defeating Charizard of that level in the future. Not to mention a bug-level Pikachu. In the image. After the two sides competed with each other with a wave of skills, the close combat began. Although the opponent is a legendary Pokémon, its moves are completely unorganized. After all, Reshiram is now under control and completely irrational. In addition to following instructions and using moves, the rest relies on instinct to fight. If close combat, Charizard can gain the upper hand. Advertisement. Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw. Both sides use Dragon Claw at the same time. Green energy claws extend from Reshiram's tiny claws. Charizard's hands are the same. Boom. When the two sides collided, the strong wind spread out in all directions. Reshiram's Dragon Claw was directly bounced away. My Charizard will not only rely on superpower to win in Charizard Valley. Now, Dragon Claw. Roar. After flicking away Reshiram's hands, Charizard crossed and slashed hard in front of Reshiram. Quote quote. A heart-wrenching sound. Reshiram's seemingly soft fur is actually stronger than Orberg. Dragon Claw only scratched some marks on it. It didn't cause much damage. But Reshiram flew backwards due to this huge force. He fell all the way to the ruins below. He was buried in the dust. Although the strength is weakened, the defense power is not compromised at all. In terms of resistance to damage, Reshiram, a top-notch beast, is more than 10 times more durable than normal Pokémon. Charizard, pursue the victory. Dragon Pulse. Roar. Dazzling purple energy condenses on the mouth. Then it burst out and hit Reshiram buried in the ruins. Boom. The remaining ruins were completely blown apart. The originally weak ground collapsed instantly. Underneath are the real white ruins. Reshiram. Fusion Flare. Jetsis has no way of confirming Reshiram's location. But the scepter in his hand can play a role in conduction. No matter where Reshiram is, as long as his scepter is in hand. You can command it. Unless Reshiram falls. Tisk. Spiral wave flames burst out from the ground. Charizard flapped his wings and dodged easily. There is no way to defeat us in this kind of unstructured battle. Charizard. Big text fire. The scorching flames spurt out again. The power of Leon Fenshin is aimed at the location where the flames were blasted out just now. At the same time, Alice and her group had quietly approached Jetsis. Their target is the instrument that controls Reshiram. Thanks to the battle between Charizard and Reshiram, not only did it attract everyone's attention. They even knocked away all the controlled Pokémon that were chasing them. This allowed them to sneak in so smoothly. At this time, the screen is divided into two sides. One side is the battle between Charizard and Reshiram. On the other side is the lurking figure of Alice and others. Yu Longdu. These three people did a good job. As long as the instrument is destroyed, Reshiram will be out of control. He will definitely point his gun at Jetsis. By then, won't Charizard win without a fight? Open black lens bracket Diantha. Shut up. Stop breastfeeding. Close black lens bracket. After Lance typed these words, Alice and others who had been hiding smoothly were suddenly discovered. The minions of Team Plasma swarmed in instantly. Those controlled Pokémon that could still fight also stopped directly in front of the three of them. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Is it true? No, this is something in the future, right? If I were really that powerful, I would have become the world champion long ago. This must be a coincidence. Lance feels like he can't clean himself out even if he jumps into the Yellow River now. After everyone was discovered, Jetsis and Akroma also reacted. These people's goal is the machine that controls Pokémon. Naive, do you really think that my machine is so easy to destroy? When I made the machine, I had already factored in its anti-strike ability. Unless it is elite level or above, there is no way to destroy my machine. Just because of you little brats. Haha, Pikachu, Tenman Bolt. At this time, a high-pitched voice came out. It turns out that Xiaozhi's Pikachu came nearby. While directing Charizard in the battle, he also let Pikachu sneak up near Jetsis. At today's distance, Thunderbolt can already hit. The saffron-colored current turned into a yellow flash and flew towards the weird machine. At this critical moment, a snow-white Pokémon stood in front of Thunderbolt. Roar. Snow-white Pokémon looks like a bear normal. This is the Pokémon from the Unova region, Beardic. He directly blocked Pikachu's Thunderbolt. Although he instantly became scarred under this Thunderbolt and roared in pain. But he still blocked this move. Jetsis and Akroma couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. I didn't expect that this yellow-skinned rat living on the streets in other places could explode with such power. If the lightning just hit the machine, I'm afraid it's really broken. Advertisement. Fortunately, I left the last line of defense around me. When the machine is threatened, the Beardic I control will take the initiative to block the gun. You, the rat, almost ruined my plan. Since you like protecting your trainer so much, let me try to attack the trainer with your own hands. With that said, Akroma pointed the instrument at Pikachu. Everyone was shocked. Even mythical beasts can control machines. Now Xiaozhi's Pikachu may not be immune. If you are hit by that machine, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape the fate of being controlled. Drop. Akroma pressed the start button and a laser beam shot out. In Xiaozhi's panicked look, Pikachu was hit by the light. Then his eyes quickly turned blood red. His face also turned into a ferocious expression. Pikachu. At Xiaozhi's shout, Pikachu turned around. However, the usual friendly look towards Xiaozhi has disappeared. What replaced it was an extremely ferocious look. He's not your Pikachu anymore. Use Thunderbolt on your trainer. Pikachu. Pikachu's body is strung with golden electricity. A direct hit on Xiaozhi who didn't dodge at all. Roar. Charizard, who was fighting, saw Xiaozhi being attacked by Pikachu and wanted to turn around immediately to support him. However, Beilong pressed forward step by step, giving him no time to come back for help. Charizard was even upset because Xiaozhi was attacked. Without trainer's command, he began to lose ground. The situation on the field changed instantly. Ha 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 ha. Did you see it? Your so-called bond and friendship are not worth mentioning in front of my machine. Do you know why I kept your Charizard without controlling it? Because the leader needs a Pokémon to verify Reshiram's power. Your Charizard is just used as a test subject. Otherwise, what kind of Charizard? I can control it at will. Akroma laughed loudly at Xiaozhi. He would never admit that it was actually Charizard's power that shocked him just now, causing him to forget to use the instrument to control Charizard 383. But it's not a big problem, as long as the results are good now. Pikachu, it's me, I'm Xiaozhi. Everything we have experienced, have you forgotten? Pikachu, come here. Faced with Akroma's ridicule, Xiaozhi turned a deaf ear. He only sees the existence of Pikachu now. Even if he was hit by thunder shock, he didn't show any cowardice. Walk straight and firmly towards Pikachu. Pikachu. Pikachu's body lit up with golden spark again. However, when the lightning hit Xiaozhi, there was no way to stop him from moving forward. Pikachu, your thunder shock is more than this, right? The thunder shock you usually use on me is more powerful. When you are controlled by something like this, how come your electricity has become weaker? Please hear me, Pikachu. Use Thunderbolt. After eating 2 rounds of Thunderbolt in a row, even a sincere Mega Man is already covered in scars. But he still didn't fall. Instead, he shouted heartbreakingly at Pikachu. Want to wake up, Pikachu? Hi, Pika. As Xiaozhi spoke, the red light in Pikachu's eyes began to light up intermittently. He is fighting against the power of the machine. And this fight seems to be working. Pikachu. The next moment, Pikachu's whole body exploded with intense electricity. It is several times stronger than the force that attacked Xiaozhi just now. However, this force was not directed at Xiaozhi. Instead, it attacked Jetsis and Akroma behind them. What? How is that possible? How did that electric mouse? As soon as Akroma finished speaking, huge thunder and lightning had completely covered them. Akroma, Jetsis, even their control machines. All covered by Pikachu thunder. Reshiram, who was pressing down on Charizard to hit him, suddenly stopped. Then Normal started to go crazy and started spraying fusion flare like crazy. Everywhere it passes is filled with ashes. The powerful flames even hit Xiaozhi, who was slowly walking towards Pikachu. Seeing this, Pikachu's body once again erupted several times of lightning. Blocked the huge blazing flame. Xiaozhi saw this and shouted with all his strength. Charizard, capture Reshiram. Use seismic toss. Roar. Charizard, who has been commanded by Xiaozhi, has gained the backbone of Normal. He quickly rushed forward and held Reshiram's wings. Then he started flying rapidly to high altitude. Reshiram is struggling crazily, his whole body burning with blazing flames. The streamlined flame burned Charizard's body. It made him roar in pain. Charizard, don't give in. Use Dragon Pulse to cover him. Roar. The flames that originally surrounded Charizard were covered by the purple light that Charizard breathed out. Then it spun wildly in the invisible high air. Finally, it falls like a meteor. Normal. Just wait and see, I will perform once, Dragon Seismic Toss. Chapter 80. Charizard gets another reward. Mega Evolution Stone. Advertisement. Purple meteors fall from the sky. The violent aftermath of its fall swept up all the surrounding sand, dust and rocks. Boom. Just like the century explosion. Normal, a meteor fell to the ground. The entire ruins collapsed. Fortunately, Xiaozhi and others were far away and were not shocked by the aftermath. You Longdu. Even if you are dealing with a mythical beast, do you still regard landing on the earth as your last resort? You are indeed Xiaozhi's Charizard. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. It seems that when you fight Xiaozhi Charizard in the future, you have to be careful with Seismic Toss. This power is not like the power of Seismic Toss at all. Close black lens bracket. Alder. Compared to this, the bond between Chitaro and Pikachu is really strong. Even the divine beasts cannot break the bond, but they actually manage to break it by relying on their bond with each other. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. These are Xiaozhi and Pikachu. They are the best partners. Otherwise, there would not be such a miracle in the world as the exclusive Z-Pure crystal. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. But Xiaozhi was too messy. He actually ate 2 of Pikachu's thunderbolts. That's close to elite level power. Close black lens bracket. Kato. If I have the chance, I really want to have a fair showdown with Xiaozhi. It's been a long time since I've seen a human with such a powerful body. The last person I knew who could rival my fighting power was Master Bruno. Gym trainer of the Galar region, the humanoid fighting Pokémon Ayame shows an eagerness to try. In terms of physique, she feels that she should be considered the pinnacle among human beings. However, even she was not sure she could withstand the power of Thunderbolt twice. And being able to stand up like this and yell. Xiaozhi's physique is even stronger than hers. What kind of training did you undergo to get such a physique? If she had the chance, she would definitely go to Xiaozhi for advice. Image 1. With the success of Dragon's seismic toss, smoke and dust dispersed from the field. Xiaozhi hugged Pikachu next to him to prevent him from being hurt by the aftermath. Mega. Rookie's physique is still top-notch. Tens of seconds later, the storm subsided, and Xiaozhi opened his eyes and looked around. Akromar and Jetsis have been stunned by Pikachu's Thunderbolt. And the machine that controls Pokémon is already in a semi-dead contest condition. But it's not completely destroyed yet. That's why Reshiram went crazy just now. It was because he was making a final struggle with the control of the machine. However, the damage he caused to those around him was too great. Helpless, Xiaozhi could only ask Charizard to use seismic toss to calm him down. Alice, Sillin and others were also transported by the aftermath of the explosion. Click. From the ruins in the center of seismic toss, a sound came out. Then, a white shadow flew out from inside. Uh-oh. Reshiram appeared in front of Xiaozhi again. It's just that this time Reshiram is a little different. His eyes are no longer red. Instead, they have turned into the normal color of sapphire blue. His expression no longer had the violent look before. But there are many more scars on the body. The dragon's seismic toss move just now caused considerable damage to him. Roar. After Reshiram came out, a loud roar sounded. An orange-red figure also rose into the sky from the ruins. Charizard deployed dual wingbeat and appeared in front of Reshiram. There are also some injuries on his body. The seismic toss just now is a skill that can damage the enemy by 1000 and damage himself by 500. The speed of falling was too fast, and Reshiram was still struggle, so he had no choice but to take Reshiram with him. Judging from the surface situation, Reshiram's current injuries are a bit more serious. However, everyone knows the physical strength of legendary Pokémon. If the fight continues, there will be no system for Xiaozhi and Charizard. I'm afraid it's really not Reshiram's rival. But. Uh-oh. Reshiram chirped towards Charizard. When Charizard heard this, the fierce fighting spirit on his face slowly dissipated. Reshiram has returned to normal, and the chirping just now meant a truce. Although Charizard still wants to try out legendary Pokémon again. But now that Reshiram has returned to normal, he is not their enemy. So now he can only give up. Roar. I hope I can play with you again in the future. Oh, there will be a chance, a Pokémon that is a true hero. Finally, Reshiram looked at Xiaozhi who was hugging Pikachu and looking at him. A man and a dragon look at each other here. End. There are actually a lot of rocket scenes in the middle, but I cut them out. I adapted this review based on the op and the animation. To be honest, today's old fans can't touch the heyday of Reshiram. Let's leave this battle with Reshiram to the Pokémon world of the current timeline. Advertisement. At that time, there will be a scene where Charizard X, who has repaired his foundation and has gone through the Charizard Valley training method, will fight against Reshiram. Fire Dragon vs. Fire Dragon. Please stay tuned. JPG. The video ends here. Everyone watching was stunned, and then 90% of the people in the world started flail. You play. You keep playing. What happens to Reshiram later? Have Jetsis and Akromar been captured? Will Charizard continue to fight Reshiram later? You should keep playing. What does this sudden end mean? Do we lack that little time? You will die if you watch more than 2 paragraphs, right? Damn it. I want to see the follow-up. The follow-up. How to determine the outcome. Reshiram and Charizard haven't finished fighting yet. Why is it over? Is it true that what Mr. Lance said is that because the machine was destroyed, Reshiram returned to normal and no longer obeyed Jetsis' orders, so Charizard is judged to have won? There is still such an operation. Audiences all over the world are talking about it. And we strongly condemn the sudden and unfinished behavior of Tiandao Inventory. Although they were also curious about the follow-up development before, the fight has already been completed. There is nothing we can do about the ending of the video. But you haven't finished this yet. What will you end if you don't finish this? Charizard vs. Reshiram. Because Reshiram broke away from Jetsis' control and lost the will to fight Charizard, Jetsis was judged to have lost. But Charizard does not really defeat Reshiram this time, so the reward is reduced. Close black lens bracket. The rewards are being liquidated, please wait, and the points of all those who bet on Reshiram's victory will be deducted first. Close black lens bracket. World audience. Just be a human being. Just deduct points first. Are you short of money? The audience gave you not enough points in the opening world. You long do. Alas, it's a pity. I don't know if the two guys were caught later. I feel like they should be. After all, they have fainted and Reshiram has returned to normal. It is easy to catch them. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Lance, if you don't say this, they might be taken to jail. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, okay Diantha, don't catch Lance. If this continues, Lance won't dare to post barrages. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. Speaking of which, Tiandao's inventory is relatively fair. According to Xiaozhi Charizard's strength, unless they can reach a higher level during the battle, Charizard may not be able to defeat Reshiram. Alder. That's true, but everyone knows about Chihiro's ability to explode. The gap between Charizard and Reshiram is not unreachable. In this case, there is still a slight possibility of winning. Close black lens bracket. Drazna. Champion Alder, you are hurting your own morale. Just because you think highly of Xiaozhi, you can't think that our Unova dragon is weak, right? How can the power of gods be touched by mortal spirits? Close black lens bracket. Drazna was very dissatisfied with Alder's practice of blowing Xiaozhi Charizard. Forget it before, but this time Charizard faced Reshiram. This is also the dragon he longed for. Comparing Charizard to Reshiram, she doesn't agree. Alder scratched his face in embarrassment, but he didn't expect Drazna's reaction to be so big. She is usually a gentle woman, but when her beliefs are touched upon, she seems to become very irritable. Charizard, I believe in you. You can definitely become a dragon comparable to Reshiram in the future. No, even surpass him. Xiaozhi was afraid that Charizard would be disappointed, so he patted Charizard and comforted him. Who knows, Charizard has no intention of losing at all. On the contrary, I am very proud. You know, he hasn't received any help from Rainbow Light Feather on the screen. And he hasn't used any Z moves either. Under such circumstances, he is so strong. What would it be like if we repaired the foundation and used Z moves? I can't even think about it. What Reshiram? Come and do it one by one. Jenny. Squirtle comes to Big Brother's side. Ask him for advice on how to become stronger. Turtle also wants to become that powerful. Roar. Just cheat and that's it. Jenny. Turtle sweats.jpg. What you said is the same as what you didn't say. Dana. That's the power gain through evolution, and I don't even bother to use it. Even if I don't evolve, I can still become very strong. Jenny. Want to evolve? That's still sour and spicy. He wants to study the way to become stronger without evolving. Squirtle doesn't seem to have resisted evolution, but he has never evolved, but it's okay not to evolve. Xiaozhi's baby team has no weak ones except Unova. Kino. Evolution. What does his evolution look like? Pikachu. Turtle and Frog are right, you can become stronger without evolving. Pikachu is also a loyal fan of the non-evolution conclusion. After all, if he evolves into Raichu. Let's not talk about not being cute anymore, let's just say that the size has increased, and it can't be done on Xiaozhi's shoulders. That is the most unacceptable thing for Pikachu. Advertisement. Xiaozhi's Pokémon discussion aside, now, the rewards are here. The counting is completed, Xiaozhi's rewards have been distributed, and the points awarded for betting on Xiaozhi's victory have also been distributed. Close black lens bracket. The next inventory will start in 10 minutes, so stay tuned. Close black lens bracket. Everyone discovered that some rewards in the Tiandao inventory would be clearly stated, but some rewards would not be stated. They don't understand why, but Xiaozhi and Diantha both know. Steven's temporary residence. A ray of light is coming. Xiaozhi was wrapped in light. Then it slowly dissipated. Compared with before, Xiaozhi seems to be a little different from Mikey. Not talking about his appearance, but his outfit. Xiaozhi originally had a pair of green gloves on his hands, but now, the green gloves have turned into black. And on Black's right glove, a bright stone shines under the light. It was a colored stone with a pattern similar to a gene chain in the middle. Key stone. Many champion elite trainers recognize it at a glance. This is the key stone that allows Pokémon to mega evolve. If you say so. Under the gaze of everyone, Xiaozhi stretched out his right hand, then slowly opened it. A round stone with interlaced black and blue lines in the middle appeared in his hand. Tiandao's inventory just now seemed to say, "This is my key stone, and Charizard's Mega Evolution Stone." Xiaozhi's voice was filled with irrepressible excitement. After seeing Gardevoir's Mega Evolution and Greninja's Bond Evolution, he has always wanted such an evolution. It's a pity the teacher, the big frog, hasn't grown up yet, and he doesn't have the other evolution stones and key stones either. Originally, Xiaozhi planned to redeem it at the Tiandao store. But before he could exchange it, Tiandao inventory actually gave these two props to him as rewards. Is it Charizard's Mega Evolution Stone? It looks like this. It seems different from Gardevoir's evolution stone. Mr. Dandy, a loyal fan of Charizard. After hearing that the evolution stone in Xiaozhi's hand was Charizard's evolution stone, he immediately came over to take a look. He is still very curious about Charizard's mega evolution. The form of each mega evolution stone should be different. Yesterday, when I went back to beat, well, I was educating Wickstrom, I stopped by Professor Buratano's residence. And I got some information on mega evolution. In exchange, I performed a mega evolution in front of him and asked him to collect the data of Mega Gardevoir. Diantha said softly. If they hadn't heard the word beat, they would have almost believed that Diantha went back to educate Wickstrom. In fact, it is correct to say that it seems to be about the same as giving him a beating and educating him. Then did you get Charizard's evolved form? Facing Lance's question, Diantha shook her head. Actually, Mega Evolution is still a theoretical operation at present. Now, except for my Gardevoir, there is no Pokémon in the world that can successfully Mega Evolve. Professor Bretano only researched that those Pokémon have the possibility of Mega Evolution. But he didn't have the ability to let them Mega Evolve. Otherwise, he would have released this discovery that shocked the world and affected the world structure long ago. Why wait until the inventory of Heaven's Way is revealed before speaking out? Everyone nodded in understanding. Diantha said the same thing. If there really was a Pokémon that had successfully evolved into Mega, I'm afraid this discovery would have been reported on all major platforms long ago. The reason why it has not been announced must be because it is still in the experimental stage and has not been successful. Xiaozhi and Charizard, can you Mega Evolve now? Hearing this, one person and one dragon looked at each other for a long time, and Xiaozhi shook his head. No, I can't do anything right now. Roar. Charizard also roared in a depressed mood. They can feel that even if Charizard has agreed with Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi also regards Charizard as a family member. But the time they spent fighting together was too short. The bond is enough, but the tacit understanding is not enough. Their intuition tells them that they currently have no way to Mega Evolve. But that day is not far away. Able to sense your own shortcomings, Chitaro, you are already a mature trainer. Ah, ha ha ha, where? I'm still far behind. Yes, Xiaozhi, you are still far away. Don't get carried away. If you are as powerful as Alola, it won't be too late for you to get carried away. Sister Shaw gives Xiaozhi a slap in the head every day, which makes Xiaozhi's newly elated mood disappear in an instant. He has indeed made a lot of progress now. But, if he wants to compare with Alola, it is indeed a bit far behind. In other words, it is not of the same magnitude at all. Comparison only hurts, not to mention that the person being compared is none other than your future self. It is precisely because of this that Misty can use these words to suppress Xiaozhi's pride every time. After all, you can lose to anyone. But you must not lose to your future self. Beg.